This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping the foot on the whoop on the Knicks. We keeping the foot on the whoop on the Knicks. What's up, Tommy Ross, man? Talk to us, dog.
Tom Ross TV. Once again, separating the weak from the strong. We got a lot of hot topics in store, a lot of hot debate. We're looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to having good, responsive communication in the comment section.
Exactly. So make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all comment, like, and share. Salute to everyone that's in the chat. Make sure y'all give y'all Sunday's best. I got my boy Tom Ross TV in the building. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Subscribe to the brother's channel. We're going to get right into it, man. First and foremost, salute to you, Anthony Rose. We got to talk about the Nets and the Lakers, man. There is a dichotomy that's going on between both teams. The Brooklyn Nets, their issue is a Kyrie Irving issue. It's not nothing else. You have to understand when a team is built, they're building the principles and the chemistry of the team based on how they are thinking everything is going to go into fluidity or to some kind of fluid motion when everybody's there.
Mm-hmm.
This was the year that the Brooklyn Nets were supposed to galvanize and put a team together and have everybody playing from the onset. Then we end up having the issue between the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving. Me and Ross talked about this offline, but I'm going to basically enlighten folks and bring it up. A lot of people don't understand business and they don't understand business principles. The Brooklyn Nets as a business team and as a team that operates themselves from a business mindset, they had to make that call. They had to make that decision because it was a mandated call. It was a mandated decision. And the mandated call and the mandated decision that they had to make was for them to decide ultimately that if Kyrie Irving does not take the vax, and if Kyrie Irving is not willing to do what everybody else on the team was willing to do, then we're going to have to not have him play. We don't want him being a part-time player. We didn't pay him for part-time play. We paid him for full-time play. Now, it is a person's choice whether they decide whether if they should or should not take the vax. But here's my thing. The bottom line is you're playing for a team that a mandate is put in place. You're playing for a city where a mandate is put in place. You can sit there and try to dance around it all you want, but you can't sit here and act like these things were not there and put in place for a reason. So Kyrie Irving is just basically being the guy that he's being, which I'm not faulting him for that, but I'm faulting him for the idea of this is why the Brooklyn Nets didn't give no two shits about Kyrie Irving at that point anymore. They looked at their best player, Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant had bolted and said that I'm not going to take the vaccine, then Kyrie Irving would have had legs, right? But Kevin Durant didn't do that. Kevin Durant just quickly went ahead, took the shit. James Harden took it. So the Brooklyn Nets had leverage to get after Kyrie the way that they got after him because they're like, okay, Kevin Durant is taking it. James Harden is taking it. So what are you doing? Why are you holding back? Why are you basically pushing yourself back from you not doing it? And see, what people got to understand is that set things in motion why we have the current landscape of the Brooklyn Nets being the way that they are at this juncture and at this moment. The Brooklyn Nets is suffering because the Brooklyn Nets are not in a position where the Brooklyn Nets are able to dominate. The problem is the Brooklyn Nets do not have their full piece in place. Kyrie Irving is the number two. You cannot ask James Harden to do a number two's work. That's nonsensical. Kyrie Irving is the guy who is the Scottie Pippen of the team. Now, he has Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant capabilities in terms of closing, but in terms of the role itself, he's the Scottie Pippen. Kevin Durant is the Michael Jordan. James Harden's role is to be the fucking Horace Grant. And see, what you guys have to understand is you can't ask Horace Grant level to pick up and try to do Scottie Pippen level. That's not going to work. because it's two different hierarchical positions. You have option one, you have option two, you have option three. This is phonetically how basketball works. And you're having an option three in James Harden try to do option two's role. You guys have to understand pressure with James Harden, they don't go hand in hand. The reason why James Harden is underperforming is because James Harden is playing pressure-filled basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Just being on a team with Kevin Durant, being on a team that has championship aspirations, being on a team that is built for championship success, that puts pressure in James Harden's bucket. James Harden doesn't do well under pressure. He's a Tony Romo, aka Zab Judah. So this is why he hasn't quote unquote fell off. He's just not playing comfortable basketball. Some basketball players don't want pressure. They don't want to be under the gun because they can't handle it. That's why James Harden bent the knee to Kevin Durant and he went to go play with the Brooklyn Nets so that he wouldn't have to deal with that. So James Harden low-key is angry. He's angered by Kyrie Irving because Kyrie Irving has put unnecessary pressure on him that he doesn't need on the basketball court. Because if Kyrie Irving was there, the load of the pressure would be Kevin Durant and then Kyrie Irving. Everyone knows that. So this is why the Brooklyn Nets have been having the issues that they've been having. They don't have that one key player that's a number two. I'm going to liken this example, and this right here is going to hit for basketball heads, the 97-98 Bulls. Before they won the NBA title, that year Pippen revolted. If you go watch The Last Dance, Pippen didn't play in the fucking regular season. And you know what happened? The Bulls struggled, man.
Mm-hmm.
They struggled their ass off. And you want to know why they struggled their ass off? Because they didn't have that number two guy that runs the offense. They didn't have that number two guy that was basically a player that's a jack of all trades. People think of LeBron James. Scottie Pippen was that way before all of this nonsense.
And a defensive stopper.
And a defensive stopper. Before Grant Hill and all of that. Scottie Pippen was a jack of all trades. There wasn't anything that Scottie Pippen couldn't do. You're telling a guy like that to be removed from the offense. So you know what Jordan did? Jordan is doing what Kevin Durant is doing at this point. Jordan was like, you know what? Fuck it. Your ass don't want to be here? Okay, we're going to figure this shit out. The Bulls ultimately went 50-50 with Scottie Pippen not there because Jordan and Dennis Rodman clicked on the defensive end. Dennis Rodman was still the number 3 role. But if you guys remember, Jordan and Dennis Rodman said, you know what? We don't got Scottie Pippen. We're going to switch it up. I'm going to be the primary ball player, ball playmaker. I don't like that because it's just I'm not at that age where I can do it. But fuck it, I'm going to do it. We're not going to sit here and keep losing games. We're going to have to figure this out. Dennis Rodman will just basically wrap up the defensive side of the ball more. And we're just going to have to play basketball where more people are going to have to get involved and more people are going to have to step up to score for the slack of Scottie Pippen. When they did that, the Bulls respectively were 50-50. And then Pippen showed up, and then that's when the Bulls ended up dominating the way that they did. This is what Kevin Durant is doing basically with rallying up the troops with the Brooklyn Nets. He don't have Kyrie Irving, but a lot of guys are stepping up. Patty Mills, a lot of guys are saying, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to do what I got to do. Bruce Bowens, a lot of guys are saying, we're going to try to figure this thing out. And from a defensive standpoint, Kevin Durant has been playing hellified defense. People are not giving him credit for that. He's been playing hellified defense this season. He's been going all out because his mindset is, we don't have this guy, but we still need to figure this thing out. People are going to be looking at us and people are going to be saying, you know what? We are a team that have championship aspirations. So we can't just completely stink up the freaking joint. That's where the Brooklyn Nets are at, 50-50, right? Now let's talk about the Los Angeles Fakers. The Los Angeles Fakers don't have the Brooklyn Nets dichotomy. Their dichotomy is they picked the wrong point guard. Russell Westbrick of Russville does not fit. I just read an article where LeBron James and Richy Rich and Tom Ross, y'all going to have a field day with this. They had to fundamentally do something that they didn't want to do. And you know what that is? LeBron James, when he played with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh had to change up the way that they played to accustom LeBron. LeBron's numbers did not go down. This is the LeBron style of basketball. LeBron's numbers don't go down, but everybody else suffers. When LeBron James was with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, their numbers suffered. LeBron James's numbers stayed the same. Do you know what the article said? The article said that LeBron James is going to have to do what James Harden did in Houston. He's going to have to sacrifice so that Russell Westbrook can thrive. This would be the first time in LeBron James's career that LeBron James has to play out of character in order for somebody else to thrive. But here's the problem with that, Ross. LeBron James don't know how to play any other way. That's what the issue is with that. So if you tell LeBron James to play another way that he's never been accustomed to playing, you still have a la outer, la whack, la situation. Let me say it again. You still have a la outer, la whack, la situation because LeBron James never refined his basketball game. He never expanded his basketball game, and he never took his basketball game to another level to where he can add other layers and other elements. Pat Riley was trying to get him to do that when they played with the Miami Heat, but it did not work because LeBron James didn't want to continue on with that. The bottom line is LeBron James is not going to change the way that he plays. He's going to appease Russell Westbrook for a certain period of time, but you know what ultimately is going to happen, guys? He's going to tell Russell Westbrook, fuck you. Because eventually, LeBron is going to get into a habitual way where he's going to want to have that rock in his hand again. He's not going to want to be that guy that's in the low post, hey, dump it to me. Because let's be honest, the way Russell Westbrook plays, he's a triple-double king. He's not going to pass it to you because you just want it in the low post. Russell Westbrook don't play that way. Russell Westbrook going to pass it to who he thinks is open. And that may be Anthony Davis more than fucking LeBron James. So we're going to have games where Anthony Davis is going to be scoring way more than LeBron. You think LeBron's going to be satisfied with that? You think LeBron's going to be satisfied with him being the number 2 scorer on the team? The guy that doesn't have the most rebounds, the guy that doesn't have the most assists? This is why this is not going to work. See, this is the fundamental difference that the Los Angeles Fakers have over the Brooklyn Nets. It's not one guy that's revolting and sitting on a bench because of his belief system. It's basically the fact that they have a circus clown show put together and they're masquerading it and making you think it's a basketball team. That's why I like the Chris Broussard comparison. And Richy Rich, I know you don't follow boxing as much, but you still are a boxing savant. When they compared Russell Westbrook with Deontay Wilder, that was the funniest thing ever when Chris Broussard did that, but it was the truth. Russell Westbrook is the Deontay Wilder of basketball. He has no fucking skills. He's hard-headed. He's stubborn. And he's set in his own damn ways. And he's limited as fuck. When you have a player like that on your basketball team, you are in what's called a precarious situation. So these are the fundamental differences between the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Fakers. I rest my case.
They don't just got one; they got 2 players like that. LeBron is the same player as Westbrook. He's just smaller, he's just bigger. But back to the Brooklyn Nets. So Kyrie's not coming anytime soon, and they are 15%. They are 15 in field goal percentage. And that's not going to change until Kyrie comes back. So they have to get better. No, they're 20th in field goal percentage. They have to get better at defense. Now, Kevin Durant is playing good defense. But as a team, they're middle of the pack. They're only 15 as a team. They're going to have to at least get in that top 10, top 5 to compete until Kyrie comes back, because he's coming back. Until Kyrie comes back, or else all this is going to be for nothing. Another thing, they need to try to store. They need to try to see if they can get another scorer and put Harden on the bench as a 6-man. 2 people need to be 6-man for these teams to thrive. Harden needs to be a 6-man, and for the Lakers, truth be told, Russell Westbrook should be coming off the bench. That's a 6-man. That way he could do what he want to do. He could run the team how he wants to. He could put up his numbers, and while the other players are getting rest, and they don't. You know what I'm saying? Then, because let's be honest, man. Rondo is the point guard of that team. He's the real point guard. Not Westbrook. Westbrook is a liability on any team he plays on if he's the primary ball handler. Any team, no matter how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
You could have Michael Jordan, Larry Bird,
Mm-hmm.
Shaq, Elijah One. If Russell Westbrook is making the decisions at point guard, you're gonna fucking lose if they don't pull him. Like he's gonna start. He's gonna be going to 104 fast breaks, running into people, losing the ball, taking ill-advised shots. It's not gonna work.
Yep.
Russell Westbrook is not a real point guard.
Yep.
People they kind of get it miscombobulated. Playmaker and point guard. They get it miscombobulated. Mm-hmm. All because you get a lot of assists will make you a point guard. A point guard can affect a team and not have the most assists on the team. But he gets the players in the right positions.
Yep.
He might be making a pass that don't get the assist, but it leads to the assist.
Yep.
Russell Westbrook is not that, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a liability. And what's the name? He's always been the best coming off the bench.
Yep.
Harden has always been his best playing
coming off the bench. Greatest six man ever.
Coming off the bench. Because he's just that much better than them, but he's not as good as the top players in the league.
Facts.
But he's Jordan against the bench players. Yeah, man. Y'all don't agree? He's Jordan.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said he's the greatest six man ever. Greatest.
He's Michael Jordan against the bench players. That's what he needs to be. Harden needs to be coming off the bench and doing his best Michael Jordan performances against other bench players. So KD can rest his legs and but they need to bring another good starting caliber guy. So they can push Harden down, man, and let him dominate bench players. But other than that, if these guys don't make these small changes, they're gonna struggle.
Yeah, I agree.
Brooklyn got to play better defense, and they gotta make Westbrook come off the bench, man.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Richy Rich, what's your take on it?
Well, salutes to you guys. I know I came in a little late, but that's I had a little thing going on, but it's all right. Salutes to you all in the chat. The topic with the Brooklyn Nets is, the team looks kind of out of sync, man. It's because of Kyrie Irving. We already know that. That's apparent. Mm-hmm. And because that's a big hole. That's one of the big three. They need this dude out there. They need his scoring. They need, Kyrie Irving's swagger out there. That's what they're missing. And when I look at that roster, the Steve Nash, he might have to change up that roster to start the rotation because they have too many offensive-minded players in that starting rotation. Like Joe Harris, I know he's a guy that could hit the three, but that cat can't play defense if his life depended on it. You know what I'm saying? If he's not hitting shots, he's basically useless. He's like Kyle Korver. Well, Kyle, I don't know if you guys remember Kyle Korver. That 40% 3-point shooter. He was a knockdown 3-point shooter, but if he couldn't hit shots, he was useless out there. That's who Joe Harris reminds me of. And James Harden, he's not known for playing defense, man, and he's always trying to bait the referees to get calls, and sometimes he blows up plays when he doesn't get these calls. And now you're seeing what they're doing to these NBA players now. Him, Trae Young, they're not giving these guys the calls that they want. So you starting to see these guys struggle. They're having 15-point game, as opposed to their 30-point, 40-point game when they go into the line 18 times, 20 times. I mean, in the last game they let Harden go to the line 16 times. I guess his complaining finally worked. Maybe you saw Trae Young complaining it didn't work. They got blown out by the Sixers the other night. So they still not looking out for Trae Young. Maybe he need to win an MVP like Harden. Harden at least has that under his belt. So they're gonna accommodate him here and there. But without Kyrie, I don't see how that helps them going forward because Harden is a sieve on defense, and he's someone that's going to continue to try to play for the whistle, man. And that's going to hurt the Nets because it's going to disrupt plays. It's going to waste possessions. Because if they don't call a foul, he's going to be complaining. He's going to be complaining on the other end while they're playing 4-on-5 on defense. And, you know, it's just going to be a waste. That's all it is going to be. One thing I like that they've done so far in these games, like Tom Ross mentioned, yeah, they got to improve their defense. But I like the fact that they're keeping teams from scoring high margins. Like last year, teams
that's what I was talking
like
about.
130, 140. I'm like, damn, man, these cats don't want to play no damn D.
No.
But this year, you know, I see them limiting teams to 90 points. Okay.
And guess who's the anchor? Guess who's the anchor behind that? Kevin Durant.
He got to step up. He was in when his first year with the Warriors. He was in a defensive MVP convo. I think he was top 3 in that convo. That we got to see that Kevin Durant a lot more. You know, but they got some cats on the bench that could play some defense. Why they gotta give these guys more minutes, man. You know what I'm saying?
Patty Mills.
Patty Mills, Bruce Barnes, Bembry. Who else?
Hold up. Did you say Bruce Barnes?
Yeah, Bruce Barnes
Brown.
Jr.
Bruce Brown.
I keep saying Bruce Barnes. My bad, Bruce Brown.
I was gonna say Bruce Barnes, but now he came back to the league.
No, I don't know why I keep saying Barnes. Bruce Brown. My bad, Bruce Brown. That's what I meant. Bruce Brown.
Paul Millsap, Bembry. You know that dude, Javon Carter. He could play some defense. Nick Claxton. He can't be a starter because he looks like he's still raw. In those first few games, I saw that. Yeah, like teams were going at him because like he doesn't know like where he's supposed to be. Playing around those stars sometimes for a young player, you know, it gets you a little jittery. So he's someone that they got to bring along. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's in that Jason Wiseman situation with the Golden State Warriors, where you're playing with these guys that are won championships, and you know you got a lot of butterflies in your stomach. So you just trying to see if you could fit with these guys, and you out there making mistakes. That's how Nick Claxton looks. They got to bring him along, but you know, Nash, man, you know, he doesn't know how to coach defense, and he doesn't know how to, you know, coach up these young cats. So the jury's still out on Steve Nash, but these guys, they're gonna have to try to figure out and hold it down until Kyrie Irving comes back. They're definitely gonna need Kyrie because no one can be prepared for losing. If you got a big 3 going on, you assemble a big 3, and then you find out that one of your big 3 ain't playing. The other 2 aren't going to be ready for that. You know what I'm saying? Out of nowhere, they're not going to be prepared for that. So this is why you see the Brooklyn Nets. You know, they're not where they need to be. But you know, if Kyrie Irving comes back, I'm hoping he does. You know, they're gonna get right back on track to what their expectations are. And I'm hoping that comes sooner rather than later because if it comes later, man, you don't know what kind of impact it's going to have. I'm hoping Kyrie is keeping in game shape because if he's not in game shape, man, that's going to affect things. So I'm hoping that guy's keeping in shape, the best of shape that as he possibly can because they're going to need him, man. They're going to need him. A cat that's lethal like that, we know what he's capable of and big stage moments. He's not scared of the moments, man.
And Anthony Rose said, I think Kyrie will be back for Xmas game, for the Christmas game, basically. Why is he alluding to that, Richy Rich?
It could be politics. You know, maybe they now I don't think they're gonna lift that mandate out in
because I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any news saying otherwise that they're lifting the mandates. Is Kyrie caving in? Talk to me, Anthony Rose. Why are you saying by Xmas game? But go ahead, Richy Rich. I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
Anthony
they're not
Rose
going to lift the mandate. They're not going to lift it unless the number enough people get vaccinated in NY or the numbers, the COVID numbers go down tremendously. They're not going to lift that mandate. So you know, it's all on the government over there if they want to do that. But personally, I don't think they're going to do that. So. The Brooklyn Nets are still going to be in the same predicament with Kyrie. It's going to take for Kyrie to kind of fold and realize, you know, he's missing basketball. This could hurt him down the line in his career, his legacy. You know what I'm saying? But I don't hold it against him. He has his choice. He has his right. But the Brooklyn Nets have a right to do what they got to do because they're running a business. You know what I'm saying? And he signed on, and they felt that he was committed to competing for a championship. But this thing has gotten in the way, and they have to continue running their business. They can't have him be a distraction for the rest of the team and hold the team down with his decision to not take the vaccine. So that's where we're at with that. The whole Russell Westbrook situation with the Lakers. I feel that, like you said, LeBron James, he's going to have to sacrifice numbers. If he continues to keep playing the way he thinks he's going to go out there and play, that's going to be at the detriment of the team. It's never going to allow Westbrook to feel comfortable within that team system, because Westbrook, as we know, he's not an off-ball player, man, and he could be very erratic, and he could sabotage a team's flow. That's just who Westbrook is, man. We've seen it time and time, and you can never trust this cat in the clutch. When this dude think he about to hit a clutch shot, boink, boink. I remember, boy, Westbrook got them moments, man. He always trying to be a hero. He reminds me of that first Prince of Bel-Air episode, where Will Smith, he joined the basketball team, and they were winning games. And Carlton, he got jealous, he got pissed off, and I'm thinking that they were they got to a point where they were winning games and they got to the playoffs, and they were that playoff game was coming down to the wire. The coach said, give Will the ball, and Carlton, he ripped it out of Will's hand, and he took the shot, and he bricked it. That's how Westbrook was with Kevin to KD. Yep. He didn't want KD getting that last shot, man. He wanted to always be the hero, this hero in the moments, and he always used to choke down the stretch. That's who Westbrook is, man. And LeBron don't realize it. This is Westbrook's hometown. You think you're gonna show me up in my own hometown? I done came and signed on the Lakers in my hometown. I'm a former MVP. You think I'm gonna be a six man? Listen, there's a thing called ego, man. You remember when Allen Iverson, they were saying maybe Allen Iverson should be a six man. For Denver. That boy took offense to that, man. These cats who won MVP.
Yeah, he should have been listening. At that point, he wasn't fired like that no more.
I understand, man. But these cats got huge egos, man. They got huge egos. This man is not going to take a back seat like that. And because he's getting paid how much? $45 million? $44 million?
Yep.
That's ridiculous, boy. That boy is not going on no bench, man. If it's up to him, if he knew he was gonna have to take a 6-man role, that man would have threw a whole wrench in that trade. That trade would have never happened, bro. You know that. That's facts. There was no listen, man. You might have to if your game don't mesh well with LeBron and AD, you might have to come off the bench. If they told this man that man would have said, hell no. I'm staying my behind on Washington.
He would rather lose.
He'd rather lose, man. That boy wanted stats. And guess what? LeBron James wants his stats too, because he's trying to reach milestone. That's straight facts. He's trying to pass Kareem's records. He's trying to get these rebound records. He's trying to get these steals records. LeBron is still out there chasing stats, man. When he wore that shirt when they lost to the finals against the Dallas Mavericks, check my stats. I think he was with his wife, and they were on the beach. He got a shirt called Check My Stats. LeBron James is a stat hound, man, just like Westbrook. Them cats want their stats, man. And they are not gonna sacrifice their numbers, bro. It's just how it is. These guys are gonna it's gonna be to a detriment to the team down the stretch, but that's just who those guys are. AD's gonna be a sacrificial lamb because his numbers are gonna be sacrificed. You're gonna see days where you're like, damn, AD, his numbers don't look right. It's because LeBron and Westbrook out there trying to get their numbers.
Trying to get all the fucking rebounds.
Yeah. Westbrook's still out there trying to get them rebounds, man. Trying to steal rebounds from people. LeBron, he got to get his 8-9 rebounds. He got to get his 6-7 assists. He got to get his 20, 26, 27, 28 points. That's not going to change, Tom Ross. You know what it is with LeBron.
And I'm glad you said that. No, go ahead.
They are the worst things that happen to basketball, and they're on the same team. The Lakers probably gonna get to the finals and lose, man.
And it's interesting y'all said that because look what Bookie Allen said. LeBron wanted Westbrook trying to prove he could win a championship, but he's an idiot trying to be funny. Let me tell you guys something. LeBron said out of his own mouth that his cerebral is so high that he can basically play alongside Russell Westbrook. Mm-hmm. You guys have to understand, LeBron James has always taken digs at players. He used to do this to Kobe Bryant, and that was a dig he was trying to take at Kevin Durant. And he's learning very quick that that dig that he took was a fatal mistake. Because at the end of the day, people are appreciating all those years that Kevin Durant had to put up with Russell Westbrook. All those years he put up with him. People are appreciating that now. Before, they were like, well, you know, it's Kevin Durant's fault. Well, you guys are realizing, I told you guys, it doesn't matter who is playing alongside Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook could be playing alongside Michael Jordan. He would tell Michael Jordan, fuck you. I'm taking the shot. Because that's his mindset. See, it has nothing to do who he's playing alongside. And if he could tell Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, F you, I'm taking the shot, how much lesser respect he has for LeBron James? That he's basically going to take the shot, and he's not going to let LeBron take the shot. Come on. So you guys got to understand, this right here was the worst thing the Fakers could ever do. When I heard Damian Lillard was one of the guys that was interested, how did LeBron and them botch that up? I'm going to tell you why that got botched up. It's because Damian Lillard was going to outshine LeBron James naturally, because Damian Lillard is a closer. That's why LeBron didn't want Damian Lillard on that team. I don't know if that went over a lot of you guys' heads.
I knew it.
But he didn't want Damian Lillard because Damian Lillard was going to close games out the way you saw Kyrie was closing games out. And LeBron don't need that kind of attention. A guy that's constantly closing games out. That means that a pendulum swing was going to be switching over to that person. And he wasn't going to respond well to that. And with Damian Lillard knowing that he's playing alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis and all of these guys, his life is easy now. Now he really don't have to play fucking defense. He could just close games out. And LeBron knew that, and LeBron was not going to have that situation. Whereas with Russell Westbrook, LeBron can go with the motion of, if Russell Westbrook fails, this shit is on him, and I can control him a bit more. That's why Russell Westbrook was the option that they rolled with instead of Damian Lillard. It was the biggest mistake they made, but that's the mistake that LeBron decided to go with. You guys have to understand the mentality of LeBron James. It has to be a guy on the team that he's playing with that he can control. And Damian Lillard was not going to be controlled. Mm-hmm. Let's just keep it real.
He's a scapegoat. Westbrook is the new J.R. Smith. Why? Because thing is, they will blame a whole game on J.R. Smith one play. Mm-hmm. No one play loses a game, man. It's a cumulative of things. One play can swing a pendulum, but it don't automatically lose a game. Now, this is what I wanted you to pull up. The things that just happened is the reason why I say the NBA work against certain players, and it's actually kind of fixed. They don't want Kobe to have that dominant factor. They are making sure everybody that Kobe played against at some point gets a ring. Mm-hmm. They don't want him to be like Jordan and be able to say, man, because of the Kobe, these guys didn't get no rings. Even though it's going to be after Kobe died, they're making sure everybody Kobe played against gets some type of success.
Yep.
That's why I'd be like, man, this shit is kind of rigged in a certain way, because you could look at it and you could say, like, damn, they actually helped LeBron James his whole career. But when it came to Kobe, they stopped key trades so he couldn't be dominant.
Yep.
Key trades. But back to Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't bring Damian Lillard on board is because real Laker fans, no one will ever replace Kobe.
Yep.
And Damian Lillard will never replace Kobe either, but he would have been giving them reminiscence.
Yep.
Kobe. Game-winning shots. 3 or 4 clutch shots in a row. Mm-hmm. It would have been reminding Laker fans, like, damn, LeBron James really not that. He's not that dude, man. So LeBron said, no, let me bring in somebody like Westbrook, who's going to be wild and trash. And you notice they got Westbrook talking about, I just want to play in the spirit of Kobe.
Yep.
How the fuck you playing the spirit of Kobe? You can't even hit no wide open jump shot consistently. But by him playing wild, he could then transmit that thought process to little guys who didn't watch Kobe play. And got them thinking this is the spirit of Kobe. Coming down and just taking errant shots that you don't practice.
Yep.
Kobe practiced errant shots just in case he had to take them.
Yep.
And you can't tell me, can't nobody tell me that Westbrook take more than 100 jump shots in practice. He don't. He don't. Because it was show.
Nope.
He don't shoot more than 100 jump shots in practice. He might shoot 10 or 20. They just go back to running to the basket as hard as he can and laying the ball up.
Exactly. That's the style of play.
I've been wanting to say this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great athlete, but as far as intelligent basketball and being a point guard, Westbrook is trash, bro. I came up watching real point guards, man. Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Stockton. I came up watching real point guards. Damon Stoudemire, like Jason Kidd. Like he doesn't have the intellect.
Yep.
And you know what? I think he be knowing the right play to do. He just refused to do it. He just refused to do it. Like fuck it, I'm gonna pull up for 30 on the fast break. And nobody under the basket. I don't practice the shot, but I'm just gonna pull up. And clink so bad that the ball go back to half. He just I judge player. I play judge players firstly. Are you fundamentally sound than everything else? So I don't care if you can do like dunks, because to me that's not a basketball player. That's an athlete.
Exactly.
I judge you off of how good you are fundamentally. This is why I always said Tracy McGrady was way better than Vince Carter. People are like, nah, Vince Carter. You see those dunks, like man, there's people down the street that can do those dunks in your neighborhood. But they can't do what Tracy McGrady do.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, Westbrook is just an athlete. Probably should have played football. The way he viewed basketball, he should have played football.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? He's just an athlete, man. But he's not a real ball player.
No.
What he does on the court be making absolutely no fucking sense.
Thanks.
I be rooting for the Lakers, but I want to see a good game. I'm like, all right, Westbrook, slow it down, man. Get the ball to KD. This nigga Westbrook drive on bottom and Gasol and get blocked. And they be like,
yep.
Like, bro, KD is open.
Yep.
And even if somebody guarded KD, if it's just one person, he open still.
Exactly.
Get him the ball and play on KD. Why is he doing a fast break in a half court setting?
You see, I'm glad you said that, because this is why I was so hard on Russell Westbrook, and now you guys are starting to understand my hardship on that dude. I was so hard on that dude because you guys have to understand, this guy made my favorite basketball player after Kobe, Kevin Durant, suffer. Richy Rich noticed, Ross, you've come to the light of this. He made Kevin Durant suffer for years. He pissed me off, man. I was like, fuck this guy, man. Who the fuck this guy think he is?
I didn't know Russell Westbrook was playing bad basketball. He was playing such bad basketball, I didn't want to talk about it. I feel like he didn't deserve no shine. I didn't want to talk about him negative or positively. You know how they say the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is when you don't care. I do not love this game. I don't care about this game.
Yep.
I only talk about it because you brought him up. I hate Russell Westbrook's game.
Yes.
It's fucking trash.
And see, I'm glad you said that, Ross, because I want Richy Rich to expound on this, because he remembered that moment when I said this. But Richy Rich, you don't remember? That made me want to slap Russell Westbrook when Russell Westbrook said out of his own mouth, people forget how nice D Rose is. And I'm sure Ross going to be able to chime in on the back end of that. But there was a moment, if D Rose didn't get hurt, we would be talking about right now Kevin Durant and D Rose, not Kawhi Leonard. I'm sorry. It would have been Kevin Durant and D Rose as the two premier guys in the NBA. And you know, Russell Westbrook had the nerve to say, I'm going to take no backseat to Kevin Durant because I'm on the same level with D Rose. Richy Rich, please expound on that for me, dog.
Exactly, man. That's what Russell Westbrook said, man, because that dude, he just had that mindset, man, like he wasn't going to defer to Kevin Durant. You even saw it when Kevin Durant got the MVP in his MVP speech. I don't know if he was paying attention.
I paid attention
to Westbrook, man, when he was giving Kevin Durant them sly looks, man. Like, hell no, this dude done got the MVP. I'm an MVP as well. And he was he was just giving that man sly looks all throughout that speech. Kevin Durant's MVP speech. Like, damn, this dude really went out there and won an MVP. You know what I'm saying? Yep. While he playing on a team with me, okay, I'm gonna sabotage this whole damn season. Just like he gonna sabotage the Lakers if LeBron don't let him get his triple double.
Yep.
That man that had 3 triple doubles in a row,
and they lost
last 3 seasons, and it's gonna be gone this season. That boy gonna sabotage the Lakers. I'm telling you.
What do you got to say, Ross, with the D Rose comparison, man? I thought that was disrespectful, man.
First of all, D Rose is an athletic point guard who learned how to play the game, and he's happy to be athletic. Westbrook was just athletic, man. D Rose was carrying the Bulls by himself.
Yep.
Offensively, those guys were scoring because they were wide the fuck open because D Rose had people shoot.
Yep.
Westbrook had way too many weapons, and he's playing with KD to come up. It was kind of like Westbrook was getting paid to throw those games, man.
Exactly. That's how
what
I felt.
It looked like.
That's how I felt.
And sadly, I don't think he was getting paid. He just trash. But it looked from the outside looking in, it looked like Westbrook was getting paid to throw the games, like in the movies. Like he looked like a hardball when he was getting beat up because he was better than sports. It looked like Westbrook was playing so bad. I know he was getting so many people beat up over the money they lost.
Yep.
Because Westbrook, if you cannot bet on the Lakers game none this year, you never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
They were just up, 18? And Westbrook came down and missed like 3 layups to get the ball stolen like 5 times. You don't see that shit in small fry basketball. You don't see those horrible. You don't even see horrible decisions like that in small fry basketball. This is 9, 10, and 11-year-old kids playing basketball who make way better decisions than Westbrook.
Yep.
They need to implement a motion offense in the Lakers where the point guard don't get to touch the ball that much. The ball just keep moving. Everybody just keep moving.
Facts.
Westbrook at the focal point of any offense is a disaster waiting to happen. It's the Titanic. It's 9/11. It's everything. It's the worst fucking nightmare waiting to happen. For him to say he's as good as D Rose, come on, man. Makes so bad. D Rose every time they play against each other, D Rose cooked them. D Rose cooked them every time they played against each other.
He did.
So what are you talking about? He ain't even better than Damian Lillard. Low key. And Damian Lillard only play on one side of the ball. I'm gonna say this, I need everybody hear me fucking well, man. We put too much into this stats. Depending on who the guy's playing against, he's supposed to get stats. If you're playing against a trash ass team that's playing trash that night, you're gonna get more possessions. You're gonna get more times to shoot the ball, and if you shoot the ball well, it's gonna be stats. You're gonna get more rebounds because the team's trash. They missed the ball, they missed the shot all the time. You're gonna get more blocks because everybody get blocks against that team. Your stats shouldn't mean anything if the win's not coming with it. Russell Westbrook got 3 triple doubles, but I don't even think they're 500 right now. That's a basketball club. They're not even 500 right now. So what do those triple doubles really mean? Absolutely nothing. We put too much stock in stats. It's all about W's, man. It's all about W's. If I was a basketball coach, your stats wouldn't count for the year if we lost the game. If we lost the game, your stats would not count. I'll be really fucked. I'll be like, man, you didn't drop anything. You didn't score anything today. You lost. You lost, man. Or if you miss free throws for the game or miss a layup, you didn't do shit for the game. I like you didn't do anything. Because you missed the layup with fundamental shot. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. We need to start valuing the fundamentals of basketball a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So we did start getting a better product on our TV screens. We
Yep.
have a horrible product. These cats is trash, man.
Yep. Yep.
Compared to what we, Richy, you notice, compared to what we used to seeing, these guys not fire like that.
Yep. Yep.
You know your point guard is trash when the best option is to get the ball out the point guard's hands.
Yep. Yep.
The reason why the Lakers had to run a triangle offense is they didn't have a traditional point guard.
Yep.
So they had to run triangle offense. These teams that run these motions, it's a good offense for any team because anybody can do it.
Facts.
When you got a point guard, you necessarily don't have to do that. You can just run a simple offense like pick and roll, give it go because they smart enough to make the right decisions. Russell Westbrook needs a system that keeps the ball out of his hands. Yep. And when he only gets the ball when he slashes to the rim.
Exactly.
That's it. If the Lakers are smart, they'll make Russell Westbrook a slasher.
Yep.
When he's in the game with LeBron.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna say this: LeBron make way better decisions than Russell Westbrook with the ball in his hands. I ain't gonna lie.
Yep.
That's what I give them. They both just be running at the people and throwing the ball up. I ain't gonna front. But when it comes to making a good decision with the ball, Russell Westbrook should never. They should not even call him no point guard.
He's trash.
You know how they give your title and shit, like when you play point guard, or it should be that shit should say Westbrook.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
his position should be Westbrook. He's the only nigga that do the shit that he do.
It's interesting Ross said that because I want to segue into this because with the Miami Heat, and I'm glad Devin Kendrick said it, the only team I fear for Brooklyn Nets in the East is Miami without Kyrie. And I'm going to explain why, because the Miami Heat, they were instrumental in getting Kyle Lowry. Richy Rich mentioned that point eloquently. And you guys have to see how that move made them that much better because Goran Dragic was just starting to age and he was starting to get to a point where he was just not fulfilling the role that he needed to fulfill. So the bottom line is they had to make moves. See, great basketball teams, they know how to make moves that's always going to put them in a prime position for them to continue to be successful. Pat Riley is an instrumental expert at doing that. He knows the temperature of the team. He knows the heartbeat of the team, and he knows how to work within the mindset of that team. And he knows that if somebody is basically down sliding or they're hitting the bottom or they're hitting the mat of the floor, I'm going to need to get a new guy that's going to bring energy to that position. Because see, what people got to understand, talking about Ross and the point guard position is the general on offense. He's the extension of what the coach basically instituted in the X's and O's. So he's the coach on the court. So his role is to implement, institute, and basically activate those X's and O's in plays in real time so that it can look like what the coach is saying is actually happening on the basketball court. Russell Westbrook is not an ideal person for that, but Kyle Lowry is an ideal person for that. That's all he's always been, a point guard. So when you have guys like that, you have a Jimmy Butler and you have other guys on the basketball team. You still have the savvy veteran, you know what I'm saying, in what's his name, man? His name's not coming to me right now. Old Miami head.
Player or coach?
Basketball player. Richy, you know what I'm talking about. Haslam. There you go. Udonis Haslam. Dude, that you got old savvy veterans like Udonis Haslam. Shame on me for not remembering that name. I should because he's an MIA veteran. But he's from Miami, so that's shame on me. That's on me. I should know his name. That's on me. But Udonis Haslam, you know what I'm saying? And you have all of these other guys, you know, that you're bringing up on the Miami Heat. They have a squad, man. The Miami Heat is positioned for them to take themselves to the next level. And And when you look at the way that they play with a true grit. They still play with that heart of being the best conditioned basketball team. They play hard every night, and they also implement motion basketball when they need to. But because they have a true point guard now, they play the way that you're supposed to play. They play the right way every single fucking night. But we also have to talk about the Knicks, because the Knicks are 5-1. People ain't talking about New York Knicks, but the New York Knicks are playing some hellified fucking basketball right now. Mm-hmm. They're dominating like nobody's business. They're also playing the right way. They're also low-key, under the radar, doing everything that they're supposed to. To be honest with you, if New York and Miami can come out and be high-level teams outside of what people are expecting, Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks, that brings extrinsic and intrinsic value to the league, because we haven't had this in a while. We haven't had the Knicks be as great as they are in a long time. Miami, of course, we had them doing their thing since the bubble title, but we would like to see a continuum of Miami Heat still doing what they're supposed to. When these teams thrive in the East, it brings the value of the Eastern Conference up again. So it's good that these teams are doing what they're supposed to. But with the Miami Heat, they are a dangerous team because they always play the right way. They play hard defense, and they're a hard-nosed, blue-collared basketball team. So the fact that they got a Kyle Lowry, who was waiting to be put in a position where he could thrive with the Miami Heat, you know what I like in that example of? I like in that example with the Phoenix Suns when they got Chris Paul. It was like a perfect fit. And that's what you have right now. You have a perfect fit because the way that he plays basketball, it does not interfere with Jimmy Butler's style of shooting guard. Mm-hmm. Because Jimmy Styles of shooting guard is Jimmy Butler wants you to know that he's the guy on the team. But Jimmy Butler is also bought into the Miami Heat system of sacrificing. You know why the Miami Heat system works for Jimmy Butler? Because it highlights and it impacts and it brings out all of Jimmy Butler's strengths. Jimmy Butler was always a great defender. He was always a hard player. He was always a player that was in well-oiled machine shape. And when you play on a team like the Miami Heat, you get all of those additives that are highlighted. And then you have a hard-nosed executive in Pat Riley, and you have a hardline coach in Eric Spoelstra, who is the extension of Pat Riley. And this is how this team is going to continue to be successful. Pat Riley has proven outside of fucking LeBron James, he can continuously build successful basketball teams. Has it translated always to an NBA Finals? No, but the fact that he was in an NBA Finals against LeBron James, even though it was a bubble title, that's a success in of itself. Because it just showed to LeBron, even without your rabbit ass, we were able to succeed and get far. Mm-hmm. A lot of teams, if you look at them post LeBron James, they are completely dismantled. They are completely low obliterated. But that wasn't the case with the Miami Heat. But so the Miami Heat gets a lot of commending for that.
How he leads them, he makes it like it's not because he's that good. He puts them in a dire straight the way he leaves. So he can't rebuild.
Yep.
LeBron is a dirty motherfucker, man.
Yep. So Richy Rich, I know you want to expound because you've been watching the Miami Heat closely, man. What is your take on them, and what do you see their ceiling in terms of the Eastern Conference?
Man, just like how I remember when we just started up these lives, and I said Golden State Warriors could be a dark horse if the players that they have, that are coming back from injury come along and give that team a boost. But Miami Heat, man, in the Eastern Conference, they're my dark horse, man. If Brooklyn Nets don't get their act together with the Kyrie situation, if Milwaukee takes a step back, Miami is my dark horse because they finally have a point guard, man, who just Kyle Lowry, man. It's like a night and day how that team was ran last season. It's just night and day. You could see the shift, the difference, man, immediately. That dude, man, that boy is a bad point guard, boy. He's the one of them point guards, man. He don't gotta score either. He don't gotta put up big points. He don't gotta score 20 points. He's just a dude that knows how to run an offense, man. He makes Jimmy Butler's job so easier. Jimmy don't gotta run the offense, and I think Jimmy's more of a threat when he don't gotta run the offense because now he could focus more on scoring, being in his exact spot, so for Lowry to find him. and he could focus more on defense, on the defensive end, which I felt he took a step back last season because he was worried more on running the team, bro, like running the point, being the point forward, or trying to score too much. But now you got an actual point guard that can run that offense, man.
Yep.
And that he could take a lot of pressure. You should see Bam Adebayo, man. It's like night and day. This man creates so many scoring opportunities for Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo don't got to force anything up. Kyle Lowry just puts it in the spot like a accurate quarterback, and that's what the Heat got now, man. So they better do whatever they can to make sure that cat is healthy, because Lowry, he's kind of up there in age. He's like 36 years old. So they better if they gotta load manage him throughout the season to make sure he's there in the postseason in some games back to backs. They better do that, because that dude gives them an opportunity to come out of the East. If they catch one of these teams slipping, I'm serious. And Tyler Hero, man, that boy, there's a contract year for him. So that boy is out there balling. I don't know if you guys been paying attention to some of them games. That cat boy, I don't know if he worked on his craft. That boy, he's balling, man. Tyler Hero and all them other role players that they brought in. They brought in PJ Tucker. That's a solid move. You know, PJ Tucker, he's one of them nasty, irritating defenders. But you need a guy like that on the championship team. Milwaukee had him. Look, they won the finals last year. It's always a thing of value when you could bring a guy like that. People hate playing against a guy like that, but they always love when a guy like that is on their team. He's the one that's willing to do the nasty work. And they improve their rebounding. Deadman, that Dwayne Deadman dude, that dude be gobbling up rebounds. That's something that the Heat didn't have last year. Rebounders, and they brought in Markieff Morris, another dude that's helping out with the rebounds. So they become a better team from the point guard aspect and a better rebounding team. So yeah, the Heat are a threat in the East. I also think Chicago, man, they did. You know, we mentioned in the New York Knicks. We're not mentioning Chicago, man. Chicago look like they're gonna be a playoff team this year. They done added some nice pieces on that team, but we got to see if they can continue to gel. But so far,
I just want to see if Lonzo Ball is going to continue to be playing the way that he's been playing as a point guard. If he can be consistent and continue to get those guys involved, because he's not on Lowry's level, but he's kind of like Lowry in that sense. He gets guys involved and stuff like that. If he can continue to do that, then yeah, I'll start taking Chicago seriously. I'm still keeping basically what we would say a caution sign up for them. But the Miami Heat, I know they're legit because the Miami Heat has already went to the finals, and the Miami Heat have evolving players like Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. These guys are going to be the future of the franchise. They've already invested, and they have that. And then they have the current landscape of Jimmy Butler and Udonis Haslem and fucking Kyle Lowry. So they have a squad that's legit. But with the Bulls, it's a lot of young guys. So with young guys, you still got to wait until they fully develop before you could really say, okay, this guy's for real. That was kind of like Devin Booker. If you told me about Devin Booker 2 years ago, I would be like, he still needs to develop. But now, after seeing him last year and then the continuation of this year, it's like, okay, he's arrived. Now, is he going to continue to build on that? With me, it's all about that. Like, when I'm dealing with young guys, I have to see at least 4 or 5 seasons solidly that they're playing basketball a certain way. And then it could kind of give me a landscape by year 7, what type of player they're going to be. Because I'm going to talk about Zion Williamson, too. I'm going to get on his ass. But anyways, I just wanted to touch on that point. So finishing up what you were saying, Richy.
Oh, they also have Victor Oladipo, man. I mean, he's still coming off his quad, but they're saying they're like his progress. Because, you know, the Heat, man, they probably have the best conditioning. I'm not going to say they do have the best conditioning they have
the best conditioning team in basketball, period.
They have the best conditioning team in basketball, period.
Because when I saw they took Jamal Mashburn, a fat dude, all of his career, if you go watch when he was on the Miami Heat, Jamal Mashburn had a 6-pack.
Yeah. Not just him, Quentin Richardson. You remember how that dude let himself go
with the Bulls.
Came to the Heat. Yeah, with the Bulls. When he came down here, that boy got in shape, man.
Yep.
That boy was in the best shape of his life.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Every player that comes down here and plays with the Heat.
And I didn't think Dan Marley's always been a cut basketball player, but I didn't think Dan Marley could get more cut. He got with the Heat, they made him more cut.
Exactly. Even Greg Oden, man. You
Mm-hmm.
remember Greg Oden, who I mean, unfortunately, that dude, he had them bad knee injuries, but when he came down here, they got him in shape.
Yep.
It's just his knees were so bad at that time.
Yep.
It didn't matter what kind of shape that dude got in.
And look at Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah.
Alonzo Mourning, when he played with the Charlotte Hornets, he was skinny. He was what you call skinny muscular. But when he got with the Heat, man, Alonzo Mourning was brolic, dog. That dude was brolic. They had him with the boulder shoulders. I mean, he was just huge. He was massive. The dude had. That's why he felt, even though he couldn't punch worth shit, and those muscles was just too bulky, he felt he could take on Larry Johnson. That was the funniest fight I've ever seen in my life. But he felt that he could do that. He felt he could do that because he had that size on him, man. The Miami Heat put that damn size on his ass, though. You got to give him credit for that. And then Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway was fat as hell towards the late part of his career with the Golden State Warriors. He got on the Miami Heat. They had him with them nice, bulky muscles, man. I was like, look at Tim Hardaway. This dude's in shape.
Pat Riley don't play around, man.
Right now, the New York Knicks and the Heat are top 5 in damn near every team category, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're for real. As of right now, they're for real. Now, come a month or two, if they still up there, pretty much that's how it's gonna be.
Yep.
They top 5 right now, man. So right now, when I do
the Nets got to get their act together. The Nets got to get their act together, man.
Yeah, what I do with stats, I compare it to what I'm seeing on the court, and I look to see if it's just the competition you've been playing, or you've been playing good ball. These guys have been playing good ball, and the Nets, they have to pick it up defensively.
Yep.
Because as long as you got KD, you in the game.
Yep.
But they got to pick it up defensively, make the games a little more tighter, so they can come around with victories. And the Lakers, man, they got to keep that ball out of Westbrick hands, man.
Yep. But I'm done with that whole as long as you got KD shit, man, because this is the time for KD to be winning. That's why I'm extra mad at Kyrie Irving. Y'all understand my anger with Kyrie Irving. Because Kyrie Irving fucking up shit right now. Right now, it's all about championships, though. Yeah. He's fucking up championships. And I have a fundamental problem with that. Like, I don't mind you make your decision or whatnot, but let's be real. Let's keep it a buck. Kevin Durant got you on that squad because if y'all be honest, the NBA was getting to a point where they were low-key trying to blackball and blacklist Kyrie Irving. They were starting to get tired of Kyrie Irving's antics. And you know who comes in and saves the fucking day? Kevin Durant. So Kyrie Irving owed Kevin Durant, man. You know who Kevin Durant also saved too? And that's why I'm mad at him every time he's in the media talking shit. Kendrick Perkins. LeBron James used and abused Kendrick Perkins on Cleveland Cavaliers and dumped his ass. And they was about to D-League Kendrick Perkins. You know who saved him? Kevin Durant. That's why I get mad at Kendrick Perkins every time he fixes his mouth to say some shit about the Brooklyn Nets and Kevin Durant. Because if Kevin Durant didn't say, hey, bring Kendrick Perkins over to OKC, Kendrick Perkins would have been in the fucking D-League. Let's be honest here. Let's not kid ourselves. A guy averaging 5.5 points, they would have D-Leagued his ass.
He's a prime example that some people they all get paid to spin a narrative. But Kendrick Perkins has no quality. He adds nothing to sports media, man. This motherfucker say some of the dumbest shit you would ever hear. I know they paying him at least $200-$300, $200,000, probably more than that. He probably getting paid millions a year to go in there and not talk about nothing besides LeBron James.
Exactly.
And what he say don't even be profound. He's like, man, he's like, LeBron James is the greatest. He's the greatest, and I'm gone. Like, how is he the greatest? Like, you're gonna give us something? You're gonna give us something to work with? Like, when you look at LeBron James, you are looking at something we have never seen before. Now, how many times he gonna keep saying this shit?
Exactly. Exactly.
What you gonna say? He also broke the bro code, man, in the NBA between the NBA brothers, man. You're not supposed to divulge what happened in those locker rooms. This is exactly what he's doing, man. When he was talking about his experiences with Westbrook and KD. That's why KD was like, man, you know what? I wash my hand with that, bro, that dude, man. Because you going off telling these people what was going down. That was between us in those moments, man. It's not for the world to do.
Exactly.
You gotta think about it. When you only contributing 5 points, I think 2.7 rebounds,
Mm-hmm.
at a .003 block.
That's not good.
You don't feel like you part of the brotherhood.
Yep.
You don't feel like you divulging anything because you didn't sacrifice nothing.
Exactly.
So you don't appreciate the brotherhood because, man, you haven't sacrificed anything. You didn't. He barely broke a sweat when he was in the NBA.
Yep.
They paid you for nothing. This to be a big body.
Yep.
I got to say, they be mainly looking for weak-minded niggas.
Exactly.
Should never even been in the NBA, dog. He was never good enough to be in no fucking NBA, man.
No.
But I know this motherfucker they put their thumb on.
His whole
all he was good for was for 6 fouls. That's all he was good for.
Exactly. 6 fouls. And his whole career has been a career where he's been a liability and he's been carried. He was carried with the Celtics. That's how he won his title. He was carried through the whole Cleveland Cavaliers situation. And then when they asked LeBron, do you want to keep him around? LeBron was like, no, I want to get somebody else. And got rid of his ass. He was getting ready to be basically exiled from the NBA. And then Kevin Durant was like, nah, you bring him over here. That's why I guys like a Kendrick Perkins, I have a problem with him. Guys like Russell Westbrook, for Kevin Durant to put up with him as long as he did. You know, Kevin Durant, if he wanted to be grimy, when they were asking him about contract extensions and do you want the landscape of the team to change when Kevin Durant was the main person, Kevin Durant could have asked for Russell Westbrook to be off the team. And that would have happened. He never asked for that. So the best thing that Russell Westbrook should have done in that scenario was just bend the fucking knee. That's it. You got to know when someone is superior to you, and you got to know when to bend the fucking knee to that person. I mean, it's just really simple. Now, segueing it to the Los Angeles Lakers, because I have to talk about this. Told y'all we're going to have some topics here where we're going to really get into this shit. Dr. J dropped the napalm today, and Dr. J says he doesn't have LeBron James on his 2 all-time teams, NBA and ABA legend list. Dr. J says he leaves the Lakers superstar LeBron James off of his team because of the super team he forms. This is what Dr. J had to say. Dr. J went further and he talked about how in his illustrious career, he scored over 30,000 points. He averaged 24.2, 8.5 rebounds, and 4.2 assists to sit on the 8th all-time on the scoring board, considering his time over both the leagues. And he went further to say, when I played basketball, you just played with who you had around you. It was up to the organization and it was up to the teams to realize the forecast of what you needed to build teams around you. And on the podcast Post Up with Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports, Dr. J says, I purposefully left LeBron James off of my 2 all-time teams list that considers Oscar Robertson, the ones that I have with Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. Of course, I have Bill Russell. I have Wilt Chamberlain. I have Magic Johnson. I have MJ. I have Larry. I have Malone. And I have Kareem. That's my list. You can argue that. That's what I choose. Dr. penalizes LeBron for leading the charge with super teams because he certainly popularized it with his absurd decision show. Basically, Dr. J was repulsed when he watched LeBron James have that decision show where LeBron said, in this fall, I'm taking my team to South Beach. Dr. J said he wanted to throw up because that's not basketball. So because of that reason, I'm keeping him off my 2 top 10 lists. What you guys have to say about that? Richy Rich, I'm going to let you start off.
You know me, man. I'm loving it. Because I'm come from that old school cloth, man, where, hey, dog, you got to win with what you got, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to show me why you a top dog. You know what I'm saying? And MJ showed why he was a top dog. Kobe Bryant showed why he was a top dog. Irving Magic Johnson showed why he was a top dog. Larry Bird showed why he was a top dog. so on and so on in past greats. Tim Duncan, Timmy D showed why he was a top dog. LeBron James, man, this man taking shortcuts, leading this new era of athletes, telling them, hey, man, if you can't get it done, man, you got to take a shortcut to get it done. You gotta go another route. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen how it's affected the game of basketball, man. Well, we got these other guys, they out here, man, they're not even waiting till free agency. They just low-key quitting on teams with 4, and they're in these contracts. They still got 4 years to go, 3 years to go. They just quitting on these teams. They don't want to compete no more. These guys don't want to compete. Here's what LeBron James has done to the game of basketball. These guys don't want to compete, and it's hurt the game. It's set the game back. Just because that move he made in 2010, where he was like, you know what? I'm not gonna bust my ass anymore, and I'm gonna go join Dwayne Wade, who's a top 3 player. It was Kobe, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, or however I know you LeBron tards. Y'all probably gonna say Kobe, LeBron, and Dwayne Wade. Y'all not gonna put Dwayne Wade over LeBron, whatever. But those were the 3 top players in the league at that time, and LeBron went and joined, and he dismantled the competition in the Eastern Conference, and that was the start of it. That was the start of the Pandora's box being opened, and ever since then, we've seen these guys, man, just go and start joining teams. Oh, if LeBron could do it, I could do it. LeBron's the face of the league. I could do it. I guess I could do it since he can do it, right? And he's in his prime. So if I do it, since he's doing it, I could do it. And that's all we've been seeing. And LeBron James, he's been winning championships off these super teams. He's also been losing as well. I don't see. Yeah, with super teams. I don't get it. I could perfectly understand where Dr. J's coming from, man, because he's looking at it from a sense where, you know, if he would have did what LeBron was doing, it would have been over. He would have had a lot more championships than he had in his career. Let's not even go to MJ. MJ decided that he was going to just team up with Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. Those guys wanted to form a union. Shut down the league. You already know who's going to be winning the next 10 rings. Automatically. Yep. There's a reason why we don't want to see the best team up with the best. We already know what's going to happen. It's like when you playing pickup basketball or backyard football, and you automatically get the best dudes on the same team. You know it's going to be annihilation. Exactly. We don't want to see that. But in terms of LeBron's case, this is why this dude is suspect. This man has teamed up with the best of the best, and he still lost. This is why this guy is suspect, man. He is not as great as we think he is. He's lost with stacked rosters. He's lost with super teams. If Kobe had the rosters that LeBron James, Kobe would not be losing those chips.
Kobe would never lost with
not be losing those chips. Timmy D not be losing those chips. These guys not losing those chips, man. The chips that LeBron James has lost, man. I'm still mind boggled. The Dallas Mavericks chip. This dude decides he don't want to play basketball no more. Maybe because Dwayne Wade looked like he was about to snatch that Finals MVP from him. Come on, man. Listen,
he did the same thing Shaq did to Kobe in 2004.
Exactly. That man knew. That man knew. I remember somebody left a comment in one of these lives, man, on one of these past 2 shows where they left, man, that hey, if this dude if Dwayne Wade would have won the Finals MVP in against Dallas, LeBron James' legacy would have been finito, because he would have been a dude. They would have forever put that print on his that he was along for the ride. He was along for the ride, and this dude is a schemer, man, at his best. We've seen it. He's a schemer at his best. I wouldn't be surprised if that dude nailed it in, man, just so they could lose. Because how you forget to play basketball in the last 4 games? After you see D-Wade put his imprint on the series. Come on, man. And let's look at the finals. If Ray Allen didn't hit that 3-point shot, no, let's go to the OKC. We gotta do this in order. OKC, LeBron had big pressure the year after that. If this man don't win, they done with you, man. You're not the face of the league because you can't have 2 years of back-to-back meltdown. There's no way David Stern is gonna let you be the face of the league if you show up on the big stage twice and you piss in your pants. So you know they was gonna look out for LeBron. What they do to KD? They treated that boy like a redhead stepchild, bro. They were calling crazy fouls on him. They were taking him out of the game. That thing just didn't seem right. It seemed like it was red carpets were laid out for LeBron to finally get the first chip. And when we look at his numbers, they weren't even that impressive, man, in that finals. I mean, they cheated OKC out of that series, man. But OKC was a young team, you know, so I guess they were able to do that. Okay. The repeat chip, they go to 7 games against the San Antonio Spurs. But let's look how they get there. They had to go 7 games against a mediocre Indiana Pacer team. That was led by Paul George, you know, a young Paul George
Granger.
And Danny Granger.
They had a key too. They fouled Danny Granger. Danny broke his ankle.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, that team was the worst turnover team in basketball. They gave up the ball so many times. How the hell you going to 7 games with a team like that and an absolute clumsy nut of a center of Roy Hibbert? They going to 7 games against a team like that. I'm like, LeBron James, we trying to compare this dude to MJ. Since when we see MJ go to 7 games against a team like this? I'm like, man, this dude is just overrated, man. The media out here overhyping this dude. And then the Spurs, they push it to 7 games, man. Ray Allen saves this guy's legacy by hitting one of the most clutch shots I've ever seen. Ever in a final setting. That guy, man, he had ice water in his veins. I'm not gonna lie. Once I saw Chris Watt rebound that ball and he passed it to Ray Allen, because he knows he called me. He was like, man, he was getting happy. I was like, man, chill. Ray Allen is on the floor, bro. Ray Allen is on the floor.
I was getting happy though.
Let's see what happens in this last play. And like my mind traced it that ball was somehow gonna get to Ray Allen. That's exactly what happened. And that man hit that shot. And the play before, I remember Tony Parker hit that dagger 3 in LeBron's James. I was like, damn, boy, that was a big time shot from TP. They're going to get this. But Ray Allen's still on the floor. If this man get the ball, somebody need to be on that boy. Nobody got on him. And that man made the shot. He saved LeBron's legacy. And LeBron had the gall after that chip to say that he deserves to be in the pantheon of greats. After this man that saved your legacy, hit a big time dagger shot.
That shit pissed me off.
That pissed me off. That thing had all the hairs on my skin, you know, like crawled up, man. I was just pissed off, man, because I knew he was gonna start talking trash. Okay, San Antonio showed you that was a fluke after that. And what does this man do to the Heat? He schemes.
He folded.
He leaves D Wade and Pat Riley in the dust. And people was telling D Wade that, yo, you can't trust this cat. This cat only came down here for his legacy.
The Dwayne Wade sister, all of them, they been told Dwayne Wade. He wouldn't listen.
Here's why Wade's legacy is not as big as what it was. Because he let this come to his team and finesse him and Debo him. You know, out of his team, out of his Wade County. LeBron goes to Cleveland. You can already tell that was some choreographed scam type stuff.
Sports rig like a motherfucker.
Exactly, bro. Because you didn't see all them crazy commercials that was coming out. For the land, let's get one for the land. Nike commercial. I'm like, dog, it's some. We already knew Cleveland was getting that ring. It was just how are they gonna set it up? We knew Stephen Curry Stephen Curry, boy, like he knows me saying, man, that's the ultimate beta. That's the ultimate second fiddle beta. How he let LeBron James come in and snatch his whole thing up from him, man. They was about to make this boy the face of the league. He had that safe boy image. It was like how they was doing Kobe when Kobe had the fro. You know, Kobe had they looked like Kobe had the clean boy image. They were giving Kobe everything.
Mm-hmm.
They were giving Kobe everything. They were literally giving Stephen Curry everything. He lets LeBron come in and snatch it away from him. But it's not what we think. That boy, they scammed the Warriors out of that chip. They suspended Draymond. We already know the deal. They suspended Draymond, and that changed the complexity of the series.
Andrew Bogut got hurt.
Andrew Boyd got hurt. Iguodala got hurt. They wasn't calling fouls. They were basically playing rough on Stephen Curry and Clay, but they allowed it. Exactly. Just to make LeBron get that ring for the land, so he could bump up his legacy, and they could start talking some. He's now in the comparisons with MJ. He won. He did something that seemed like it was impossible. He won a chip for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yep.
Okay, Cleveland don't amount to anything because we all know what happened after that. The years. Okay, he goes to the Warriors and he sons LeBron James back to back.
Shit.
He sons that boy back to back. Then LeBron James goes to the Lakers. What happens?
Those are my in recent basketball moments. Big Dave hated me, dog. Those are my favorite moments, dog. I'm not gonna lie. Those are my favorite back-to-back years, dog.
Exactly.
In basketball, dog. The way Kevin Durant just sunned them, dog. Like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It looked like that boy made LeBron not be looking forward to the season, not be looking forward to basketball at all, because he already knew what it was.
Kevin Durant vicariously gave us what Kobe could not, because the NBA basically rejected Kobe, dog. So it vicariously came through Kevin Durant. That's why I'm always happy about that, because Kevin Durant is a Kobe pupil. It was vicariously gifted to Kevin Durant, dog. That shit was beautiful.
Exactly.
The way he made LeBron James so afraid of him that LeBron was telling J.R. Smith, "You go guard him, dog."
Yeah, man.
That's
He
automatic
nothing to do with KD on that boy. That man wanted nothing to do with KD because he already know you can't check that boy. It's gonna be nothing but buckets in your face, in your grill all day. If you try to go out there and check Kevin Durant, that's just facts. Let's go to the chip with the Lakers, man. These crazy circumstances that happen in our world, a pandemic of all things. We were keeping tabs of it when it was going down in China, but it comes over to the States and it completely affects everything in the United States. They had to shut down all sports. We were on a lockdown. The sports came back. NBA came back because we know why they came back. They needed that moolah. They needed that cash. If they didn't come back, them players were not going to be paid. Them owners were not going to be paid. Them executives were not going to be paid. So they came back and tried to force a product on us, knowing that a lot of the players were not going to be motivated, because some of these players, they weren't worried about basketball at the time. They were worried about their families, themselves. They just weren't worried about a product that they weren't gonna put 100% effort in. They just, let's keep it a buck, like Heknows be saying. They just wanted that check. And LeBron James was able to take advantage of that because he knew, listen, man, this is an opportune time for me to get my fourth chip. If I get it, they're gonna have to put rile up the conversations again. This is an easy chip for me to go out and get. We just have to be more motivated than those guys out there. We know they're not motivated because it's a bad situation for everybody. You already saw what was going down in the bubble. Milwaukee, them cats was ready to walk out and leave the bubble because of the whole social injustice thing. George Hill, he came out and he admitted it to everybody. Players didn't want to play, man. People came back because they needed to get paid. Guys, the
only person who was practicing with his team was LeBron James.
With LeBron James, because he was telling them fools, hey,
he knew they was gonna play.
Exactly,
they were gonna play. He had the inside knowledge.
Exactly, he had the inside knowledge, and he was one of the main dudes that made sure it was spearheaded. That, hey, listen, man, y'all fools better pay. Y'all fools better play. We ain't getting paid if we don't play. He was on that. He was on that Skype call. He was on that Skype call along with Chris Paul, all pretty much all of the big guys, and they convinced all other guys to have to play because they had to get paid. But LeBron James, you saw how active he was on Twitter. Somebody made a comment saying, "Man, the NBA season needs to be canceled," and LeBron He was like, hell no, man. What you saying, man? The NBA season is not going to be canceled, bro.
He was arguing with regular people on Twitter.
Yeah, he was arguing with regular people on Twitter, man. Like, hell nah, bro. Because listen, I know I got to continue this. Because if I continue this, I know I have an inside track to winning this 4th chip.
Mm-hmm.
And like his assumptions, he was exactly right. He got that 4th chip. But guess what? Look what he had to look what kind of circumstances he had to be in to win it. Teams that weren't prepared for it, and basically
even then he went 6 games. He went 6 games with the Heat. LeBron's garbage.
He went 6 games against an injury-riddled Miami Heat team that had Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo not looking right in that series.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Listen, when this is why you gotta respect what Dr. J said, man. It's not only that this man has teamed up with and formed super teams and lost with them as well. When this guy has gone to these finals, he don't win them convincingly, man.
Exactly.
For a dude that's won 4 chips, none of his 4 chips look like they were won convincingly. It looked like some funny stuff that's going on in these series, man.
He never had no Kobe Bryant moments.
He got no Kobe Bryant moments. It's like something always has to happen for this cat to win, man. It's just we look back through his career. People go. I remember this dude was saying, "Hey, man, give LeBron his flowers, man, because when we go back, man, you're gonna miss all this more." I told that dude straight up, hell no. I said that what moments has this dude left for me to cherish, bro? Exactly. This dude, look, listen, I'm a dude. He knows to tell you, once you cheat the game, bro, I'm done with you. I'm finished. I'm done with you. That boy cheated the game.
Like that.
I wash my hands with that boy. Like he should have stayed in Cleveland and not win no rings. I would have had more respect for him. Yep. When he made that move to Miami, I was done with him, bro.
Yeah. I was done with him from the jump. I was done from him from the jump because in those St. Mary games, the high school games that they used to cover with LeBron, that small dude, Uncle Drew, the original Uncle Drew, was the one closing the games out. I was seeing that. And I said, oh, this guy's not a closer. So how is this guy going to be compared? At that time, they would be disrespectful because Kobe was terrorizing the NBA. And I wasn't trying to hear nothing at that time. Anything that was not Kobe Bryant, I was not trying to hear it. And then Richy Rich was like, yo, you need to check that dude Dwayne Wade out, man. That dude is cold. That dude is nice. I was like, okay, I'll check him out. Who is he going to be playing for? Hey, man, he's playing for us, dog. He's going to be playing for the Miami Heat. You got to check this dude out. So I check out Dwayne Wade out of all the guys. And then Dwayne Wade, I mean, this dude is having insurmountable feats. Dwayne Wade is doing some off-the-chart stuff. I mean, people forget, but this is for basketball heads, dog. There used to be these games when the Miami Heat used to play the Utah Jazz and Dwayne Wade used to play up against Deron Williams. Those head-to-head games with D. Wade and Deron Williams or Deron Williams, however you said, those shits used to be nasty. That's when Deron Williams as a point guard was nasty. I don't know if people remember that, but after that whole John Stockton and Karl Malone era, Deron Williams with Paul Millsap in them, and then they had that other dude, the light-skinned cat. I forgot his name. It's not coming to me. Carlos Boozer. Deron Williams and Carlos Boozer was becoming the new age John Stockton and freaking Karl Malone. And those guys, man, they were terrorizing the league with Deron Williams, Carlos Boozer, and Paul Millsap was young at that time. That Utah Jazz was a force. They used to come down here to Miami, and Wade used to have the ball out of control. Wade used to put up 55 points, 45 points, 50 points. The Wade was putting up some phenomenal numbers, man. That was off the charts. That year in 2006, the way Wade played basketball like he was possessed, man. I was so impressed by the way this guy was playing basketball. I was just like, this dude right here is legit. This is a legit basketball player. And he had his nice little mid-range jump shot. You know, he didn't have that range. But when it came to that mid-range 15 feet and in, Wade was bucket. And see, that's what separated a guy like him from a guy like Russell Westbrook, because Wade, you could count on him hitting a jumper. You could count on Wade hitting that, and Wade perfected that jumper, man. And you could tell why Wade's jumper was nice, because he was doing those drills with Eric Spoelstra and the drills with the Miami Heat, and he was just constantly doing those things. Wade was so phenomenal in the way that he played basketball, and the fact that he was willing to go up against Kobe and earn Kobe Bryant's respect and show that he's there. Like, hey, you're gonna acknowledge me as a shooting guard. That's why I was mad when LeBron went to Miami and Wade just willingly accepted that. Now, the first year, there was a little thing going on. The first year, Wade was a little hesitant. Wade fought or whatnot, but it was that second year because Wade a lot of times was in the media talking. When LeBron talked shit, he talked shit right back. They used to get in fights when they used to put the camera up. Wade would tell LeBron, "Get your ass on defense. Your ass ain't playing defense." That was the first year. But for some reason, after that first year, Wade just quit. He just gave up. I don't know if it was a private meeting with Pat Riley. I don't know what happened, but something happened where Wade decided after the first year that he wasn't going to say anything, that he was just going to roll with what Pat Riley and them mentioned that he needed to roll with. My bottom line with that is Dwayne Wade had every opportunity to decide whether he should do that or not. That would have been a defining moment. I'm going to tell you like this. That would have been a defining moment, guys, if Dwayne Wade, when LeBron and them and Pat Riley and them said, you need to give the team to LeBron, if Wade would have said, fuck you. That would have left LeBron in a hangover. You know why? And LeBron would have had to continue to eat it because LeBron has signed a 4-year contract. Wade could have screwed LeBron. Those next 3 years would have been hell, but Dwayne Wade would have still been able to anchor the team for at least 3 years with him being the leader on the damn team, because Wade could have easily told LeBron, look, the only way that I would give up the team is if I'm declining to a point to where I can't be the guy on the team. But as long as I'm the guy on the team, I'm not giving this shit up. I want an NBA title before your ass even showed up on the fucking scene. That's what Wade should have done. And the fact that he didn't do that, that made me have a problem. Because in that NBA Finals, Wade proved he was still the guy that should have been the guy, because he was averaging 28.6 points per game. And it was LeBron that disappeared. Wade was still giving it to the Dallas Mavericks. It was LeBron that disappeared, and Bosh was the number 2. Bosh averaged, people forget that, Bosh averaged more points than LeBron in that damn NBA Finals. So nobody could tell me about LeBron James. LeBron James purposefully threw that NBA Finals in terms of his performance because he would not accept the fact that Dwayne Wade was going to be the Finals MVP. He knew what that was going to mean. LeBron, one thing LeBron is not, is he's not stupid. And he understands the Finals MVP rule. If a motherfucker get a Finals MVP on you, you can't get around that. That's always going to be cemented in your basketball history line. And he knew if Wade got that Finals MVP, that would have solidified Wade as the main cog on the team, and LeBron would have had to been the Pippen, and LeBron wasn't having that. So that's why, to me, he tanked that shit.
Yeah, man. So I definitely agree with Dr. J. Definitely. And it goes to my overall point of LeBron. LeBron James single-handedly is the worst thing that ever happened to the National Basketball Association, man. And it changed me that Dr. J has to do this list, and he has to use that as an excuse when really LeBron James just ain't that good skill-wise. Without that. He's not good skill-wise to be up there. Without that. Even if he didn't go to these other teams, create super teams, he's just not good enough. Basketball-wise.
Yep.
He still has holes in this game. Jump shot still shaky. Free throw still shaky. The ball becomes a hot potato when it's a cut shot. He don't want it. How are you a top 5 all-time great player, man? And you don't even get the ball in clutch situations. You're afraid to go to the free throw line, man. This is the thing with LeBron James and LeBron James alights. This society really is very watered down. And it was started before LeBron James came to the league. It was a society of participation trophies, man.
Yep.
Everybody get a trophy just for showing up. It's a championship game, but everybody leave with a trophy.
Yep.
He brought that attitude to the NBA. So it wasn't about who won. It was about moral victories.
Yep.
And narratives. The reason why D Wade folded, and I still don't agree, is because D Wade, he cared about what people thought about him. And they blamed D Wade for the finals loss.
Facts.
They blamed two people for the finals loss. They blamed Eric Spoelstra, and they blamed D Wade. The nigga that was stealing.
Facts.
Because they said D Wade was hampering LeBron James' game. And for the Heat to go to the next level, D Wade has to be the one making the decisions. That's what they said.
Yep.
And they set that tone. And D Wade was like, "Fuck it, man. Maybe I do need, for this dude's ego. Maybe I do need to step aside because he can't play no other way.
Yep.
I can. He can't. So he stepped aside, and when he did that, he put a hammer in his fucking legacy.
Yep.
Basketball legacy, that is.
Yep.
And it come to find out that it's in D Wade's makeup to always step aside and let people control him, like he did in his relationship with Gabrielle Union.
Facts.
He a bitch ass nigga when it comes to that, man. You know what I'm saying? She put that little baby in a skirt, man. That little baby don't know nothing about being no man, no woman, man.
Exactly.
But D Wade is a punk, man.
And
we should have saw that coming. If you bow down to LeBron James,
you
bow down to anybody, man.
Anybody,
She big dogging him right now. Bro, it's sad. So I said all that to say this. LeBron James doesn't deserve to be on that list, not only because he started one of the worst domino effects in NBA history with the super teams, but for the simple fact that the product of the NBA has declined rapidly under LeBron James' reign.
Facts.
It's not a good product. It's a horrible product.
Yep.
It's so horrible that the NBA had to step in and show that it's obviously rigged.
Yep.
Back in the day, we knew it was kind of rigged, but at least the people gave great performances.
Facts.
I'm a Bulls fan, and I know the chances of somebody winning 6 championships and 6 game sixes and never go to a game 7. I know that's pretty much. Come on, man. Just by the numbers, it's damn near impossible. But at least Michael Jordan gave us the fucking performances to sell that shit. You can't tell me that shit wasn't real.
Yep.
But when it comes to LeBron James, he never gave us those performances. You looking at the shit, yo, this shit is fake.
Yep.
The shit, under LeBron James, the NBA has turned into wrestling, man. It's turned into wrestling. It's politics after the game. During the game, it's a WWE. Because politics, all the politicians, they really like each other.
Yep.
They be acting for regular people, and we be getting mad at shit. Like Trump and Hillary Clinton, they got pictures of them kicking it, having drinks.
Yep.
They be acting for us because we not dumb enough to figure the shit out.
Yep.
So after the game now, it's politics, man. After the game now, it's politics. These dudes. After the game now, these dudes be hugging. They got blown out by 30-some points. They be hugging and trying to figure out how they could get on the same team together. This the first week of the season. Niggas be like, "Hey man, how you gonna get me over there on the Lakers, dog? I'm trying to win a chip."
Yep.
That's what they do now. Nobody sits and stands with one team. This is why people got mad at me. But I gave the Greek Freak so much love, and I gave Kawhi Leonard so much love with the championships they won. So much. They got it done. And the Greek Freak, he could have left. He could have went wherever he wanted to go.
Yep.
And he would have won. If he would have went to KD and them, they would have won.
Yep.
If he would have went to the Lakers, they would have won.
If
he went anywhere where two other bona fide stars was at, they would have won. He'd have been the dude to push them over the top.
Yep.
He did it. He stood with the Bucks, and they got it done.
Yep. Got to give him credit for that. I gave him credit.
That needs to be the new precedent in NBA. They wanted to get it back. Because these super teams is not where it's at, yo. And this is the reason why I despise Stephen A. Smith wholeheartedly as a sports analyst and as a black man. Stephen A. Smith brought his bald-in ass on ESPN and said the Kevin Durant move was the worst move in NBA history.
Yep. The weakest. Kevin Durant had to make that move by product of what LeBron James had created in the NBA. Exactly.
He had to make that move. Because LeBron James went to Cleveland and made another super team.
Exactly.
But this is what they do. When LeBron James make a super team, they start talking down on the players and saying they trash all of a sudden.
Yep.
D-Wade was a top 3, top 5 player until LeBron James came to the team and he retired as a role player.
Woo, that's deep.
They made D-Wade retire as a role player just to give the air that LeBron James was playing with people who are past their prime and was trash. Before Kevin Love came to the Lakers, Kevin Love was a top 5 power forward in the league.
Facts.
Considered.
Yep.
By the time he left, he was just a role player, dog. Chris Bosh was a franchise player with the Raptors.
Yep.
By the time he stopped playing, he was trash. People like, all he did was just hit J's, man. He was weak.
Yep.
LeBron James had 27 and 7 and 7.
Yep.
Those are numbers. Like, man, those numbers don't mean shit if Chris Bosh hit those wide open jump shots.
You know who's the only one that stuck it to LeBron was Kyrie, because when Kyrie left, the way he left LeBron, it left a sting in people's mind. Kyrie was the only one to do it in a way to where it challenged people to say, is playing with LeBron the right ideology? Is it the right mindset to have? Is it the right way to go about things? I love the fact that Kyrie was the only one to stick it to LeBron and create that question and narrative. And you know what ended up happening after Kyrie did that? Kyrie led a movement because a lot of superstars questioned playing with LeBron James because they saw the way LeBron reacted and basically scrutinized and criticized Kyrie in the media. LeBron could have not fell for the bait and just leave it alone and be smart. And then it would have made Kyrie look like the one that was crying because Kyrie left. But LeBron fell for the bait that Kyrie set. It was a trap that he set. He fell for it. And then other superstars saw it and they didn't want to deal with LeBron.
You trapped two people. You trapped LeBron and you trapped the media.
Yep.
The media, as soon as Kyrie did that, they started trying to push Kyrie out of the league.
Yep.
They started saying no one wants Kyrie in the league. They don't want to play with him. He's the real problem. But when you listen to players that Kyrie was playing with, if you hear them, they're like, man, we miss you, man. Like when he left Boston, they were crying when they reunited.
Yep.
Like, we miss you, man. We know it's just politics. You can hear them when they're hugging them. So the media had made up a whole narrative to say Kyrie Irving was trash because he ain't want to play with LeBron James no more.
Exactly.
They messed up what they wanted. They wanted Kyrie to bring LeBron James all these championships so LeBron James could run up the rings and they could say, oh, he's the greatest of all time.
Yep.
On the back of Kyrie, the Kyrie's like, nah, man, fuck you, man. I ain't doing that work for you.
Exactly.
You can't even admit that I'm the closer on the team.
Yep.
So I said all this to say this, man. Not only is Dr. J right, but they put him in a predicament that he can't even get into detail because it'll look like he's a hater.
Exactly.
So he has to use one thing he know they can't really argue with. And he has to present it in a way that I'm an old guy, this is my standard. You can't argue it because this is how the NBA used to be. But in reality, if you just talk about skills, just skills.
Yep.
Just the eye test, LeBron James should be on nobody's top 5 list, man.
Yep.
Nobody.
And if you have him top 5, you got to question yourself.
He's not even the greatest at his position.
Mm-hmm.
You had Dr. J at his position, and you had Larry Bird at his position, and you got KD at his position.
Yep.
Yeah, to be one of the greatest at your position to be one of the greatest of all time.
Yep.
Man, listen, when this man is retired, bro, see you gotta understand, people under their rocks right now. They all gonna come out of that rock for LeBron, bro, and they gonna start criticizing this. They just wait until he's done with the game. for them, so they could start coming at him, because there's a lot of greats, man. They don't respect what LeBron James has done to the game of basketball, and they just waiting, you know. And there's some prisoners of the moment too. Right now, they starstruck because LeBron. But at the end of the day, when they look at LeBron's resume to its entirety, they're gonna have to admit, they're gonna have to be honest now. They're gonna have to be like, you know what, man? LeBron don't measure up to Jordan. He don't measure up to Kobe. He don't remind us of those guys. He don't measure up. We were caught up in this nonsense. LeBron paid for it. Maybe LeBron was giving out that good cheddar. But now, when he's done with the game, he's gonna cut them off, and hey, they're gonna resort back to how they truly thought of LeBron. And they're gonna start being honest about how they think about his game and what he did and what imprint he left on basketball.
Yeah, because when you're giving somebody financial wherewithals and you're giving them the ability for them to elevate themselves, they're gonna talk good about you. But when that stuff stops happening, look at Scottie Pippen. Every time Scottie Pippen finds himself in a financial precarious situation, he's calling up Michael Jordan. And then when Michael Jordan bails him out, MJ's the GOAT. Unquestionably the GOAT. MJ is the greatest of all fucking time. And then when MJ's like, man, look here, you a grown-ass man, man. You got done up by your fucking chick. You got all this money that you done lost. You done got bad business deals. I'm cutting your ass off. Oh, no, we're going to have to question if LeBron is the greatest player of all time, because, you know, LeBron, he played the game the way I played, you know, and then MJ might get a little sympathy probably during the Kobe Bryant funeral. MJ's heart is open. Yeah, Pippen, you know, what's up, man? Here's a little check, you know, because MJ is vulnerable at that moment. He's thinking of Kobe and shit. Here's a check. Oh, you know, LeBron, he never played the way that Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant played. If you do the math, you'll see us around that time. He never played the game the way they played. You know, they played a game where they're just ultimate closers. Pippen always know how to say the shit you want him to say, whether it's the opposite side of it or whether it's in that moment. Then Jordan cuts his ass right back on. Pippen has a bottle out. You know, Pippen's dealing with midlife crisis. And Pippen is sitting there and Pippen is wondering through midlife crisis, well, shit. I gotta wonder, midlife crisis. I gotta ask myself, fuck. I'm drunk out of a skunk. I'm in midlife crisis. My chick done did me up. She's fucking Future and fucking all these other motherfuckers. And I'm just sitting here embarrassed as hell. I have to hear it in the public. So let me talk shit about Jordan. Jordan, man. You know, Jordan was just selfish, you know, and he's just Michael Jordan. It was his way or the highway. And see, y'all being racist because of Tony Kukoc and all of this and all of that. That's the thing. Pippen is the ideology of what all of these guys are going to be. Backwards and wayward. Worshipping LeBron James. Like EJ88 said, haha. You know what I'm saying? That means he's laughing his ass off. Tom Ross TV just said it. That's why I don't respect RB the Breakthrough, because of his LeBron worship. Motherfuckers like this. I finished this motherfucker last year. Tried to get into a Twitter turf war with me, and he found out. You bark up the HeKnowsEverything tree. The HeKnowsEverything tree will fall on you. I'm Jay-Z. That's what y'all motherfuckers gotta understand. I'm the Jay-Z of fucking YouTube. Don't bark up my fucking tree. Ross is the Kanye West. Don't bark up my fucking tree. You bark up my tree, the tree will fall on you. And the tree fell on him. And you know what happened? It was a dude that baited me and baited him on Twitter. But that dude was my boy. He just sent me a quick message. Because even all of us, we all can get baited into it. You know how it is. Once you baited into a response, there's moments in YouTube, people gotta understand that. You can't back down, dog. You gotta answer the bell. Because your people are expecting you to answer, but hey, he knows everything. What did you think about this conversation? And he's going back and forth with LeBron James. That's why I knew he was in LeBron James worship. And ironically, RB the Breakthrough is guess who's master? Guess who is basically giving RB the Breakthrough, how should I say this? Blowing his back out. Lewis fucking Sports Network is getting his back blown out by RB the fucking Breakthrough. That's why they think alike. That's why they think the fucking same. Because that's why he came to the conclusion that LeBron James is in his top 3. Of course, LeBron James gonna be in your top 3. When RB the Breakthrough is rear-ending you, you're gonna be worshiping LeBron James as much as he's gonna be worshiping LeBron James. People are the product of who they look up to. If you're looking up the trash, you're gonna be trash. That's just the way the shit rolls. So when it's all said and done, I can't respect somebody like this because that's what our conversation was between me and this trash. He was sitting there talking about, well, LeBron James is over Kevin Durant because LeBron James, you got to look at his overall accomplishment. And the buddy knew I was a Kevin Durant fan. He said, what do you got to say about that? I said, you ever heard Drake versus Meek Mill? People can say what they want. I don't fuck with Drake. But that back-to-back, that shit was nasty, dog. That's what Kevin Durant did. He back-to-back LeBron James. So what what conversation are we having here? And then he was like, well, yeah, that's true. If you say I'm true, if you say what I say is true, you've already lost. There's no need to continue on the conversation. Kevin Durant, back-to-back LeBron James. You want to know their whole rivalry? Do the math. Kevin Durant owns LeBron James in playoffs. Kevin Durant has more wins than LeBron James in the playoffs overall. Kevin Durant averages more points. I've done their head-to-heads. Kevin Durant owns LeBron James, period. So don't come over here and try to tell me because LeBron James won a 4th title, he's over Kevin Durant. Bullshit. You got to do head-to-head with them. LeBron James is a tie with Kawhi Leonard head-to-head. You want to know why? They both went to 2 NBA finals. LeBron snatched 1, Kawhi snatched 1. That's how I judge basketball. I don't judge basketball by all this other bullshit. I judge it off of how the finals roll because that's the ultimate way of looking at basketball. So this clown, circus clown, has become basically the laughing stock of YouTube. But he has another circus clown. And this circus clown felt the audacity and the nerve to think he could come after me. And that was that dude, Ticket TV. Oh, he knows his sport is a clout chaser. Clout chasing what? Your ass don't want to admit to people you also worship LeBron James. You are a secret loving LeBron James fan. A secret loving fucking LeBron tard. So you got both of these guys that are leading all of these people into making them think that they are basketball connoisseurs, but they are just basketball, what we would say, inflators. They inflate your mind into making you think they know the game. And when I went up against him, I made him basically the Fire Marshal Bill. Because when you think about it, the name stuck. This motherfucker creates fires, but he can't put out the smoke. He's unwilling and unable to put out the smoke. When we judging basketball and we're judging at the highest levels, you basketball fans have to be smarter than that. Y'all got to see right through the fluff. These guys are just getting fluff so they can get you to donate to their platform so that you can be subjugated and be their slaves. But they don't really know the game of basketball when you really listen to them. They go by the current status quo. This motherfucker Ticket TV the other day, oh, Russell Westbrook is balling. And then I dropped my video. That's the thing. Every time I drop my video, these motherfuckers tighten up. I drop my video, he dropped another video right back. I told you, this dude always following and copycat me. He dropped another video right back. Russell Westbrook, man, he need to get ran out the NBA. Why are you saying that now? You just said Russell Westbrook was balling, and when I countered that bullshit, you turn around. Oh, well, he needs to be run out of the NBA. These guys, they follow trends. They follow whatever the current trends that's out there. They don't follow basketball. See, the guys that you're listening to right now that's talking to you guys are guys that are telling you basketball for what it is. We're not going to go by trends. We're not going to go by, oh, well, look here, Lewis Sports Network. I'm RB the Breakthrough. I'm telling you, you need to talk about LeBron and put LeBron in high standard. But did it help your fucking channel out? No. It didn't fucking help your channel out to talk good about LeBron. And did this motherfucker that you worshiping, did he ever get you on his show so that you could talk to him? See, that's the thing. They don't realize these guys that are all about trends, they're selfish as hell. He knows everything is not selfish, formerly known as He Knows His Sport. How many of y'all motherfuckers in the chat have been on the show? I've given voice to the voiceless. These motherfuckers don't give y'all a voice. They don't give a fuck about y'all. They just care about your participation. Could I have been like that too? Yeah, I could have been an asshole like that too. But I always believe in Maximus Aurelius Decius, like he said in the Gladiator. What we do in this life, it echoes into eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm authentic and consistent through this life, it echoes into eternity. We're giving you guys real basketball commentary here. You're not gonna find that nowhere else on YouTube. You got Richy Rich that, you know, when he gets in the zone, like the zone he's in today, shit is broken down to you about LeBron James. He's eradicated LeBron James's whole career. Ross, he has eradicated Russell Westbrook's whole career. And you know me, I'm always going to bring up the stuff that makes sense. Nobody's talking about Dr. J and him basically leaving LeBron James off of the 2 NBA all teams because it doesn't fit
Mm-hmm.
their trend setting narratives. Let's just be honest here. But what they're going to talk about is look at the Brooklyn Nets. They're struggling. Look at the Brooklyn Nets, man. Are they going to win? You know? And then they always looking for that moment when the Lakers can give you some kind of success so they could talk good about the Lakers. That's what they're always waiting for. You think they love the fact that they have to talk bad about the Lakers? You think they love the fact that they got to talk trash about Russell Westbrook? No. That's why when Russell Westbrook balled in a game that was a bleachers game that didn't matter, you see Russell Westbrook is balling. This is what you get from these guys. You get trend-setting topics. You don't get basketball knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And you that's listening to them, you even worse for listening to them because what's happening is you're allowing yourself to continue to be watered down by what real basketball commentary is all about. So you guys have to understand there's a certain way to prescribe to looking at the game of basketball. There's a certain standard that you have to have. There's a certain discipline that you have to have with whatever sport that you cover. And if you don't have that and you don't prescribe to that, then you are being diluted yourself. And hence, you are going to turn into a brain full of mush and a brainwashed dodo head. That means now they can play in your head and they can tell you whatever and you're going to run with it. And then a few months down the road, you're going to be running with that narrative in your mind and you're going to be wondering, how did that narrative get implanted in my fucking brain? That's what you guys are going to be wondering. I instinctively, as an individual, I automatically cut against the grain. You want to know why I do that? Because honestly, most people on the planet are beta. That means they are inferior. I'm a superior individual. I don't have time to be dealing with inferior individuals, let alone having them in my fucking presence. Yes, I'm going to show y'all the asshole that I am today. I don't deal with inferior people on the regular. They irk me. Richy Rich will tell you. They annoy the shit out of me, let alone get my fucking time. And you want to know why I have that mindset? Because you are the product of the environment that you hang around. If you hang around inferior people, what do you think your ideology and mindset is going to be? You're going to be inferior as hell. And y'all sitting here listening to these inferior YouTubers making you think that they're a similitude of superior, but lacking the fullness thereof. There's nothing about these guys that are superior. The only superior motherfuckers you listen to is a Heknows, a Tom Ross, and a Richy Rich. That's the only way. And see, y'all know this because that's why y'all keep coming back and thirsting for basketball knowledge over here. Because when y'all listen to us, y'all get that pick me up. Anthony Rose the other day was like, he knows, man, when you gonna be doing lives? Because Anthony Rose probably sick and tired of these inferior males giving him bullshit and fuck shit. Let's just be honest here, man. These guys are not breaking down basketball to you at the highest levels. They're just telling you what the current trends are. And the fact that they are apologizing for LeBron James, the fact that they are making excuses for LeBron James, that's limited basketball knowledge. Because anyone that has the true basketball eye test knows LeBron James shouldn't even see your fucking top 10. Fuck a top 5. He shouldn't even see your top 10. With all of the heresies, the blasphemies that this guy has done throughout his NBA career, he shouldn't be on nobody's top 10. And if you have succumbed and you have compromised your basketball values, if you had some, because Lewis Sports Network used to have some basketball values, but that's when he was fucking with me over here because I kept his ass on a tight fucking leash. See, when I'm dealing with 50-50 people or wayward people, I keep them on a leash. Y'all should know how I roll. I keep them on a leash. You know why I keep them on a leash? Because like a dog, they need to constantly be lashed the fuck up. Because sometimes they're gonna say shit they don't have no business saying, and that's why he know it. What did you say? No, That shit you said sounds stupid. How about we gonna get your dean back up? How about we gonna get you right? And then you don't question it, because if you don't question it, then you learn. See, only idiots question greatness. And what have we said about greatness personification? Greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. That shit can't be stopped. You can't stop that. So when greatness is speaking, take your lashes like the dog that you fucking are. That's it. It's really that simple. And I don't got time to be dealing with these motherfuckers. But y'all need to tighten up, and y'all need to listen to people that's real when it comes to basketball, boxing, or any sports. You can tell the difference between people that's feeding you real shit and people that's feeding you bullshit. So it's not just shame on them, it's shame on you motherfuckers as well too. That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, man. I think it's imperative on us to keep pushing the needle, because it's going to be some work. We're dealing in a society where the imagination and fiction is more real than reality.
Yep.
And people don't want to be told the truth. We have to make it popular.
Yep.
So it's imperative on us to keep hammering on the fucking truth. Keep telling shit they don't want to hear till they get used to it.
Yep.
Because truth be told, people want to hear shit that they know ain't the truth. In the beginning of each season, people want to hear that their team's going to win the Super Bowl. Their team's going to win the World Series. Their team's they're going to get all the girls, and that's not how life works. Fact of the matter is, it's 32 teams in the NFL. So the chance that your team going to win the Super Bowl, 9 times out of 10, not going to happen. Only 1 out of 32 can win. That's a very small percentage. People have to get into the facts, into the numbers, and into how the numbers apply to things, and how the reality apply, and get out of their imagination, man. That's where we being fucked up. As sports fans, as men, as a people, we in our imagination way too much. We keep asking, what if? Instead of worrying about what is.
Exactly.
What is LeBron James is overrated as fuck.
That's it.
What if he beat Kareem record? We don't know. What is right now? He's overrated as fuck, and he's been carried the majority of his career. LeBron James is the equivalent of the movie. I know y'all remember this. Y'all remember the movie, the basketball movie, The Sixth Man?
Yep.
When there was a ghost that was helping him be cold. It was his brother. LeBron James has been playing with a sixth man his whole career, which is the NBA.
Yep.
They have been allowing this man to be fired when he's not fired.
Exactly.
Think about it, man. It was apparently obvious that the 2016 NBA Finals was rigged. It was apparent, man. It was apparent that the bubble was rigged.
Yep.
That shit was apparent. Like a lot of this shit is rigged, but it never really looks like it because the guys who are playing sell you the dream. You're like, damn, that shit makes sense. You know, it sells you the dream. Then when you think about it, it was like, damn, okay. All of a sudden, this person got hurt. All of a sudden, these motherfuckers stayed in foul trouble. You start piecing it together. But when it comes to LeBron, it's obvious that his career has been carried by the NBA.
Trash.
And that they give it away with what the media says.
Yep.
After Kobe won his 2 back-to-back, they spent the rest of that time trying to push Kobe out of the league. They were mad that Kobe won championships in LeBron James's era. When KD started winning, they said it was what? The weakest move ever. Whenever somebody win a finals in LeBron James' era that's not LeBron, it's a problem with the NBA and the sports media. When Dirk and them ran through the Heat, dropping them threes like it was shit, they said it wasn't the fact that Dirk was so good, it's that LeBron James didn't show up. And if LeBron James would have showed up, they would have won easy. They still would have fucking lost. That team was not going to lose. Nobody could beat that team that year in the playoffs, man.
Yep.
You see what they did to the Lakers? It wasn't nothing. Kobe can't guard all those guys. They was hitting threes from everywhere. Nobody was missing.
Facts.
But they made it all about LeBron. Even when Golden State beat LeBron, they still made a loss about LeBron. They gave the MVP to fucking Iguodala because he was guarding LeBron James. We all know that the nigga that's probably the key player don't get the MVP. It's always the front man of the team. Think about how many MVPs Shaq got when it was Kobe closing the fucking show. He wasn't the front man of that team. Shaq was. Shaq got those MVPs, man. They made everything about LeBron, even when LeBron lost. It was about LeBron James. And nobody getting it. Nobody getting it, man. Even in a loss, they want him to look good. You know who else they used to do that to?
Who?
But you gotta do the history.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry West.
Mm-hmm.
Even in a Jerry West loss, they always made it sound like Jerry West was the coldest nigga on the floor. He just ain't got no team. This nigga was playing with Janet, everybody.
Yep.
But they gave Jerry West an MVP in a finals loss.
Yep.
And now they doing the same thing with LeBron James.
Facts.
The same thing, man. Every time he fails, every time he falls flat, it's somebody else. They always got a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a J.R. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Always somebody else's fault. Bosh didn't get more healthy. Bosh playing lazy.
Yep.
D Wade getting old.
Mm-hmm.
It's always somebody else's fault. Who coincidentally was cold as hell before they met you. And coincidentally, everybody had them on the uptick. Everybody was saying that Kevin Love and Chris Bosh were some of the best power forwards in the league until they started playing with LeBron James.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, LeBron James' his IQ is so sharp, he has to carry these guys.
Yep.
That's why you got to carry fucking Chris Bosh, man.
Yep.
This dude was carrying the whole franchise before he even knew you existed.
Yep.
And that's the problem. The problem is people, once they get fed what they want to hear, or once they get fed the same thing so many times, they allow it to permeate them, and they take on that shit whether it's the truth or not.
Facts.
That's why it's imperative on us to keep attacking these dumb-ass narratives.
Yep.
Even ain't nothing but a 2-minute, 3-minute video. Get on there, drop the video, man. Go at that dumbass narrative right away, man.
Yep. That's what I'm the beta male narrative killer. I'm the beta male hype killer. Yep. All hype gets killed, all narratives get killed. Don't play with that nonsense.
That's all I got on that situation, man.
Richy Rich, what's your take on it, man?
Well, I mean, you guys dropped nothing but facts. A few months ago, I remember watching this guy on YouTube. He came across these montage videos of Jordan and Kobe, and he's one of those fans that he's a big LeBron James fan. You know, you could just tell by viewing his channel. You know, where he just had nothing but topics on LeBron. But after viewing those montage videos of Kobe and Jordan, he had to question himself. You know, like, is LeBron really the best player to ever play the game? Is he really his all-time great? Because, you know, he was just sitting, like he had the video playing while he was watching these videos at the same time. And he was like, man, those guys did some great things. He's one of those people that are not born in that era. He didn't really get to see enough of. He didn't get to see. He wasn't born around MJ's time. He didn't see those games. And he was born. I think he's a young kid. He was born he's like 18 or 19. So he didn't really get to see a lot of Kobe's career either. So he was like, man, just watching those videos. He was like, man, just watching what I just witnessed. I got a question, man, if LeBron really is the great, is my GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys were doing some remarkable stuff, man. just see they left memories, they left imprints on the game.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at LeBron, man, you know, he's left some memories. He plays the right way, man, but he wasn't doing what these cats were doing on the court. You know what I'm saying? So when you put two and two together, man, some of these cats, like you said, they gotta start seeking the real stuff, man. They gotta start seeking the fake stuff, the casual, the guys that's not letting them know the truth. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be a truth seeker, man. Stop holding yourself back from really going out there to see what's real. You know, that's what happens with a lot of basketball fans. You could tell a lot of people are unknowledgeable, man, in the game. Go out there and go seek the truth, man. Go check up on past greats. Why they think this guy's the GOAT? Why they think this guy's better than that guy? When you hear peers that played in the game with Kobe and when LeBron was playing, why do you think they saying, look, Kobe is better? They're going to take Kobe over LeBron. You think it's by some coincidence that they're saying that?
Right.
Nope.
Come on, man. Go out and go find out why they were saying Kobe, why they would take Kobe over LeBron. That's all I have to say. Why they say MJ is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Why these past greats are keeping LeBron James off their list. There's a reason why they're doing it.
Yep. And see, now I'm back in full force and full swing. Ross is too. We want you guys to continue to have a place that you can come to and feel and be your true, authentic, organic, and complete versions of basketball selves. And this is the only place that you're going to get it. You also going to get it on Ross's channel. But this is where you're going to get it. This is where you guys are going to see the mindset of what basketball is all about. Because when we talk basketball, we have to always talk about preserving the standards of basketball. That's always been my fiber of my being, to always keep standards and discipline of the sport. If you're not keeping those things, then you're not really talking the sport the way you're supposed to talk it. If you're running with trends, you see, Gideon obviously is frustrated because Gideon's saying Tiki can be hot-headed and biased sometimes. I listened to that guy for 1 minute one time. So one of my subscribers told me, man, why don't you go and listen? And then there was one guy that was in the month of December when I was flaming him up bad. I flamed his ass up. In the month of December, I was in Genghis Khan mode. I've since went off of Genghis, but if I go back in Genghis Khan mode, there's a lot of people, they're going to be shitting bricks. And I know in those moments when I was in Genghis Khan mode, a lot of people shitting bricks. But when I was in that mode, I revealed at that point basically how inferior this guy is when it comes to basketball knowledge, because he runs with a fire marshal Bill mentality. He creates fires. If you guys know in Living Color, the fire marshal Bill creates fires. This is before a lot of people's times. But ironically, he's a fire marshal. A fire marshal is supposed to be an expert at putting out fires, but he can't seem to, and he's unable to put out the fire. He's unable to put out the smoke. Why do I call him Fire Marshal Bill? Because it's funny. Fire Marshal Bill is a comedy skit. This is what you're getting from this guy. You're getting a live joke of a circus clown comedy skit that's giving you this similitude as if he's a basketball connoisseur. Basketball connoisseurs don't have nearly a heart attack trying to tell you basketball. They just speak basketball in a very monotone way, and they tell you the game of basketball for what it is. They don't need to be the loudest person in the room, because the loudest person is usually the most insecure. They just need to give you the information based on the way that the information is perceived. And then they form their mindset. They form their ideologies. They form their thought process, and they tell you, well, this is the way that I see it. You may agree with it. You may not agree with it. But they have to make sure that when they have formed their thought process or their ideologies, it matches and it corresponds with basically the preserving of the standard of basketball. And I have not seen that. I'm sorry to say this, until I've started my channel, I've searched to and fro, and I wasn't able to find that or see that on YouTube. So when Richy Rich tells me that an 18-year-old kid, that kid needs to come here. I'm 21 years his senior. I could be his fucking father. I can mold him. I can tell him. That's why I call him a kid. That kid needs to come here and let He Knows Everything fully ingratiate him, fully mold him, and fully teach him the ways of the Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryant. Listen, I'm gonna tell nobody. I'm gonna tell motherfuckers that shit. No, nobody know the Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant game like me, though. And I've met a few selected people that do. So you want to know the Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant game? You got to fuck with this platform, because we're gonna preserve the Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryant game. We're gonna teach you the Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryant game, and we're gonna explain to you why that game is the greatest game basketball's ever seen. There's no basketball game that is superior to those games, because those games have mastered the game of basketball. When you talk Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, you're talking about imprints being left. Anytime I go and watch a Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant highlight, I get goosebumps. I don't get goosebumps watching LeBron James highlights. I get little repulsed. If anything, I start nitpicking. I'm like, okay, why is he afraid to go to the basket in this moment? Why is he afraid to take the shot? Why is he not trying to, assert himself? I start criticizing. Oh, it's because he has an atrocious free throw shooting percentage. If you guys remember, LeBron James in his prime was averaging an abysmal 70-something% free throw shooting. Now, guess what? He's at high 60s. That's horrendous, man. That's deplorable. For a guy who's supposed to be the ultimate level basketball player, your free throw shooting percentage is supposed to be 84% and higher. That's for elite basketball. But you're supposed to be touching 84% or higher. Because when the game is on the line, I need to know 84% of the times or higher, you're going to make that damn free throw. I need to know that. Jordan is an 84, 85%er. Kobe is an 84, 85%er. Kevin Durant is a 90%er, though. These motherfuckers will hit the fucking free throw when the game is on the line. You can trust them. But can you trust a guy that shoots an abysmal 68%? Go look at LeBron James' free throw shooting. That means, basically, if you're doing the math, 32% out of 100%, this guy may not make the freaking free throw. I can't trust a guy like that. That's why he does not want to basically take the clutch play or do the clutch basket, because he knows that he has to stand on the island. You guys need to go and read the NBA 50s greatest book. Do you want to know my greatest Michael Jordan moment? My greatest Michael Jordan moment was when Michael Jordan sat there and Michael Jordan said out of his own mouth that I love being at the free throw line. I love being actually not at home, but at a road game at the free throw line, looking at the crowd, taking the crowd in, listening to them boo me, so that when I hit the free throw, I remind them that I'm going to beat not only your team, but I'm going to close this game out. Do you understand the level of mindset that you have to have? That was the NBA 50 greatest. You got to understand what something like that did to a 12-year-old kid like me, to read something like that, the profound statements that somebody would say something like that. That tells you that that person loves pressure. That person loves the moment. They thrive in the moment. How can you sit there and say that somebody that has identified succession in all of those categories can be compared with somebody that hates and is repulsed by those moments? You can't compare that. And that's when you have to form your thought process, and you have to say, you know what? Because of that, this guy is superior. Kobe Bryant, they used to ask him in road games. Of course, he didn't have his 50 greatest book moment, but he said it. Yeah, I used to love going into the other team's home and scoring baskets on them and basically hitting free throw shots on them and reminding them that I'm imposing my will. Do you understand the level of mentality? Do you understand the level of brain matter? Do you understand basically the uniqueness and the rarity that you have that kind of mentality? See, that is what's missing in the game of basketball. They're trying to do away with the Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant style by the Gilbert Arenas of the world. Gilbert Arenas is on FUBU Sports now, telling you people that, oh, I used to prescribe to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant style of basketball, but it was the worst. It was the worst thing. Like, that style of basketball is not the style of basketball. I've come to the light that LeBron James' style of basketball is the right way to play basketball. Clearly, he's on LeBron's payroll. Because how did the Gilbert Arenas come from looking up to Kobe, looking up to that style of play, playing that way, so all of a sudden LeBron's style is the right style? So hold up, you go to 10 NBA finals, you win 4, and that's the right style. So 40% has become the new 100%. I didn't know that. I thought 100% is 100%. This is what NBA fans are telling you when they say they put LeBron James over Kobe Bryant. They're telling you that 40% is better than 71.4%. But Kobe Bryant has 31.4% higher threshold of winning in these moments than LeBron James. But LeBron James' 40% is higher than his 71.4%. That doesn't make sense. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Numbers don't. Jay-Z infamously said that, but when Jay-Z said that, it was the truth. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The numbers don't lie. 71.4% is superior to 40%. The numbers don't lie with that. 100% is superior to 40%. The numbers don't lie with that. So why are you guys fabricating the numbers just so that you can justify? To be a LeBron James fan, it has to be a walking headache. Because every year when LeBron loses, y'all got to find a new excuse why he lost. I would be repulsed being a LeBron James fan. For me to have to find an excuse and for me to have to constantly dumb down my standards just so that I can keep saying, oh, he belongs in the GOAT conversation.
Right.
Oh, no, the reason why he lost is because these guys didn't do what they were supposed to. That's a headache. Trying to figure all that out every year, that's hard, man. That's why put all that stress on you guys when you guys could just be a Michael Jordan and a Kobe Bryant fan and see greatness personification for what it is and say, look, this is what greatness looks like. This is what greatness is identified at, and know that the greatness is going to win at a stupidly high, if not all the time, threshold. I would prefer that than me having to come with some cockamamie excuse. I used to have the weirdest fucking LeBron tars. They used to show up on this platform. Freddie Gees of the world, the Wassets of the world. That one was the worst. But they used to come in and find an excuse every year. Asante L, you my nigga when it come to boxing. But in basketball, you a fucking LeBron tar. And the fact that you 50 plus years old and you rocking LeBron, it make you no different than Shannon fucking Sharp. These guys will come in here and tell you, oh, LeBron James is this and that. And then they'll bring up the stats. LeBron is about to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't give a flying fuck if he's about to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron James could pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar infinity times over. That still don't put him over MJ. That still don't put him over Kobe. You know why? Because when you're talking about pantheon of greatness, you don't go by points. You don't go by rebounds. You don't go by assists. NBA fans, even the most casual NBA fans, they remember winning above all. The reason why they synonymize wearing Jordans is because they've been taught and ingratiated. You have kids now that wear Jordans and they're trying to figure out why they wear Jordans. And you know what the previous generation tells them? Because that motherfucker never lost. He always won. See, basketball at the highest level is about winning. When I used to listen to Kobe Bryant talk, Kobe Bryant used to say, if I'm being compared on the pantheon of greatness, it's about winning. When I talk to Magic Johnson, I talk to Larry Bird, and I talk to Kobe, and I talk to Jordan, the conversations we always have is you got to win, 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 and win again. That's their mentality. Their mentality is about winning. These are the conversations that they have. And that's why Larry Bird took the ultimate dig at LeBron James that went over a lot of people's heads when Larry Bird says, when I want to have fun, that means when I want to go and get a drink, when I want to be on the golf course, when I want to go there and just chill, I play with LeBron. But when I want to win again, I play with Kobe Bryant. He made the distinction. That means one guy is a guy that he knows he's going to basically get to the next level. And another guy, he's just basically going to have fun and party with. You want to know the ultimate fun and party? And this is LeBron James's legacy in his career. Y'all going to laugh. Was when LeBron had all of the, I forgot that, you know, everybody, we all as people, we go through phases where they always have these dances that they do. But there was those moments where everybody would get on a video and everybody would do their own fucking dance at the same time. LeBron James's career was when he was with the Miami Heat. If you guys remember, he was in the Miami Heat locker room and all of them was going like this, doing circus clown shit. That is LeBron James' legacy to me. How much of a fool you can be, how much of a fool you can act, and how much fun you can have. Yes, LeBron James, that's what he was doing. That is his legacy to me. Outside of that, when I think of LeBron, I don't think of nothing else. I think of him having fun because that's what his legacy has always been to me. Now, if you want to talk about outside basketball, you want to talk about one good thing that he's done in bringing up his friends and basically, and basically ensuring that his friends all go to schooling system and they all have professions and stuff like that. I commend him for that. I'm not going to sit here and say that I can't commend that because there's not a lot of other people that's not doing that. See, I've been able to say something positive about LeBron, but it has nothing to fucking do with basketball. If we're talking basketball, we're talking just the game itself. No, he does not cut the mustard. And if you have to dumb down your basketball knowledge, you have to dumb down your basketball wisdom to appease LeBron James, then you don't deserve to talk basketball. If just doing that in of itself has disqualified you from talking basketball, especially if originally that's not how you thought. I don't care how many times a Freddie Gee or Wassett try to bring down my throat, LeBron is better than Kobe. You know what I'm going to do to a Freddie Gee and a Wassett? I'm going to use them like the human toilet bowls that they are. And I'm going to make sure I'm waiting until I'm ready to go take a shit and I'm going to shit on their face over and over and over again. Because at the end of the day, what they're saying to me doesn't compute to the way that I see things. And they will never change that. They will always be that human toilet bowl that I find when I need to go and take a piss or I need to go take a shit. I do either number 1 or number 2 on them. That's it. It's that fucking simple. And that's all I'm going to say with that.
Man, that's all that need to be said, man. Truth be told, that's all that really need to be said, man. There's a dynamic shift coming. There's a paradigm shift coming. But we as a people, we have to be tired of always being on the back end of the paradigm shifts and on the front end of the shifts that don't matter, like music and fashion. And who in Hollywood, and not the mental, because there's a big, more deeper plan of why they made LeBron James great. It's way bigger than basketball. Those are the type of black men they want. That's why he was great in sports. They allowed that. They don't want alpha males. They stepped on Kobe. They was done with that. They wanted LeBrons. They want Steph Curry's. They want D Wade's. D Wade is how he raises his family. That's what they want. So we got to start understanding sports is good entertainment. Sports is a microcosm of life and ain't life. It's a small reflection of life. There's always a bigger picture to everything you see. And you just apply just a little logic, a little thought, you'll see what was the purpose of them making LeBron James so cold.
Exactly.
But then you look at his contracts. You look at who he dealt business with. Look at how his so-called political stances. They choose your leaders for you. I think Lyndon B. Johnson, or which president said that? He said one president said the black people will never have a real leader again, and when he emerges, we will have chosen him for them.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
They chose our leader for us. LeBron James don't give a fuck about black people, man.
Nope.
Every time he lost in the finals, then he'll go build a school. This how low down and dirty this motherfucker is. Take the light that he just got trashed in the finals once again. He'll build a school and be like, nobody's doing what I'm doing, man. I'm for the people. When did you hear about that school? What greatness is coming out of that school? His kids don't even go to the school. If it's so great, why your kids don't go?
Exactly.
that school was a deflection, a distraction.
Yep.
And that's the gist of it, man. That's all I got.
Richy Rich, closing thoughts.
Well, man, I mean, that's what it is, man. I mean, there's value. There's literally what Tom Russ is saying, man. A lot of the stuff that we've seen, that's going on in front of us. There's always something behind it, and we just got to pay attention a little more. You can't just be watch this as if we're not, we're casuals, or people who are just narrow, not they're just narrow-minded, and they're not trying to, grasp things a little further, man. The game of basketball, it needs to go back to what it used to be. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping, these new era of kids that are coming into the league, and these rule changes that they just started implementing.
Yeah.
It's Adam Silver starts growing some balls, and he starts catering into the real basketball enthusiasts and not the casuals. With these I'm not gonna lie, seeing James Harden not get those calls. I mean, he's on the Nets, he's with Kevin Durant, but it's nice to see that, man, because that guy has been he's one of those new era of stars, that comes from the cloth of LBJ, Trey Young, seeing cats like that not being able to spam the system anymore,
flopping around.
Flopping around. That's a breath of fresh air, and that's a great start, man. That's where they need to start. Another thing is they need to stop letting. They need to start letting the defense have a identity, because I feel that there's not like back in the day, there was more guys that had an identity on defense. They bringing those guys. Yeah,
they need to do away with hand checking, and that will recreate the defensive element. Hand checking has screwed guys from really getting on you and getting on the ball and really trying to play lockdown defense, because they know if they play that way, they're going to get a foul immediately.
They're going to get a foul. So, I mean, if they're not going to allow full hand checking, they need to bring back some type of they need to let some defenders have some leeway in doing what they can do to stop a offensive player, a skilled offensive player like the NFL.
Yeah,
they came with that rule where a cornerback has at least 5 yards to jam a receiver up. He can get his hands on a receiver.
Yeah.
Anything after the 5 yards, you gotta you can't have your hands on a receiver. That's fair. That's fair. So you have, as a cornerback, you have a defensive back, you have a head start. You just after 5 yards, you're on an island on your own. You can't put hands on them. You gotta be a ball hawk. You gotta be someone a DB who could pay attention to what the quarterback's doing, and you gotta be quick enough to keep up with the receiver.
Yep.
That's all you need. They need to allow defenders to be able to do that. Not go full on hand checking, because that kind of gives them an advantage if they're having their hands all on the offensive player. And now it's going to be the offensive players that start complaining. But
no, I want the hand checking to be lifted completely, and the reason why is because we've already went through so many years where the offensive players have been able to be dominant from an offensive standpoint, and the defensive players have been limited. If you are truly a dominant offensive player, then you should be able to do it when hand checking is happening. You should be able to score. Jordan was scoring when hand checking was around. Kobe was scoring when hand checking was around. Guys like LeBron James, if they are what you say that they are, they need to be scoring when hand checking is around too.
But
we know guys like that will complain. We know that.
If that's the thing, though, there's going to be a huge shift, and it might bring some bad ratings, because there's going to be some low scoring games, and we all know that the casuals tune in to high scoring games.
But then there's going to be some physical games, and there's going to be some defensive games. A lot of defensive games are entertaining. People don't want to admit that, but basketball, there wasn't suffering. See, that's the biggest cockamamie myth they've given you. If you look at basketball's highest ratings, it was when there was no hand checking. I mean, it was when there was when hand checking, when they didn't put the limits on the hand checking. Bad boy Pistons, the Celtics versus the Lakers, the Chicago Bulls trying to get past the bad boy Pistons, Chicago Bulls trying to get past the Knicks. Go look at those ratings at that time and compare the ratings with LeBron's era. You just mentioned that the bubble title had less fucking ratings than a Monday night football game. But the high scoring is bringing you all this ratings. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Bring back the physicality of the defense and watch how the ratings go up, because people love to see people get physical. They love to see people talk trash. Basketball was fun when you could talk trash. You can get in somebody's face. You can do all of those things. They took away all of that. So with taking away all of that, basketball is no longer the same. It's not as fun.
The high scoring is for highlights.
Yeah.
That's why NBA highlights be getting more views than the actual games.
Yeah.
So what they did, they turned the NBA to something you don't watch. You just catch up on.
Exactly.
Because all they doing is scoring the ball.
Yeah.
What they have to do is they might not go all the way to full checking, but this is what they have to do. If you're doing something that's not a basketball play, to draw a foul, can't call that foul, man.
Yeah.
It's not a normal basketball play. You're not going up for a jump shot. You are shooting the ball and doing this and hitting people. That's not a foul. You made your body bigger, so yeah, somebody ran into your arm because you made your body, your mass bigger because you spread your legs and your arms out. Coming down, that ain't a foul.
Yep.
That shit got to go away. Ticky-tack fouls that change the course of the game got to go away. In the course of the game needs to be played out. Stop, swallow the whistle.
Yep.
Nobody should be winning the game from the free throw line, man.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Should be winning unless it's a blatant foul. Dude got tackled. He got his nose. If nobody should be winning from the free throw line, ticky-tack foul.
That's true.
No, man.
Yeah.
That should not be happening. It's not letting LeBron James have so much control of the game. He changed the All-Star game so he can start winning. Now during the touch plays in the All-Star game, the All-Star game is being ended on the free throw line, man.
Yeah, and to add an addendum to what you said, when in the last 5 minutes, let them play defense, man. Let teams play defense more.
Exactly.
Don't sit there and try to call fouls. Let it get a competitive, because the only time they get that shit right is in the All-Star game.
Swallow the whistle. Stop blowing the whistle. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the only time they get it right is like in the All-Star game. You see in the All-Star game in the fourth quarter, they let everything get testy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how basketball games need to become. Again, they need to become where the element of being testy is back there, because people got to be able to understand what defense is about. That's a lost art. It's become a lost art in the sport. Guys locking guys down, guys shutting guys down. You got to understand what that would do to somebody's psyche to see a guy shut down their favorite basketball player and do it consistently. That's going to be like, oh, shoot, man. I mean, damn. This guy's getting locked up. It's going to make them question certain things. Whereas, okay, this guy is always scoring on this guy. And if you look at basketball, even now, when it's translated to the young game, that's why I can't watch these young up-and-comers high school games. A lot of people send me YouTube videos of people in middle school and elementary. The game looks garbage, because all I'm seeing is everybody's just going back and forth, hitting baskets, scoring, and they all excited about just scoring. I don't see nobody locking nobody up. I don't see nobody making no commitment on defensive end to block somebody, rip somebody, shut them down, put them in a position where they put the clampers, the limiters on them. This is why basketball is not it's not an enjoyment to me, because you want to know where I'm gonna be honest with you, Ross. Offense has always been secondary to me, dog. Defense has always been more exciting to me. I get more of an excitement on defense than I do on offense. That's just facts. And I'm gonna say something. This shit gonna make a lot of people laugh. But playing defense and playing defense, when I used to play defense on the basketball court, playing defense is the closest thing to getting the orgasm to me, dog. That's how much playing defense, I love it. Because there's just something about the energy of defense and just the euphoria of locking a motherfucker down, dog. And let that motherfucker, you ain't scoring on me, dog. Like, it's something about that, man. It's that feel good dopamine, dog. That shit, I can't explain it, man. I can't fucking explain it, man. That's why I miss that. So when I look at basketball and I look at the middle school and I look at elementary and I just see guys just, okay, you hit a basket, you come down, you hit a basket. It's like, where's the lockups? Where's the defense? Where's the commitment? Where's the stopping you in half court and making you basically pick up your dribble? Like, I don't see none of that. So to me, basketball is not even basketball no more. You know what it's become? It's become a motion sport. I think that's what I'm going to start calling it, motion sport. It's a sport where people just constantly keep going and passing by. Because when you say basketball, you have to talk about offense and defense. So I agree with you guys. If they're not going to bring back full check-in, they're going to have to, in order for me to be satisfied with them not bringing back the full check-in, they're going to have to limit all of these other things. That's the only way to work. But if they're not going to do that, then I'd like to see a James Harden. I'd like to see a Trae Young. I'd like to see a Devin Booker. If they're really elite offensively like that, a Damian Lillard score when somebody's all in a grill sack, dog, from a defensive standpoint. Could you imagine how much more elite Kawhi Leonard would be defensively if full check-in was there? Woo! Motherfuckers wouldn't score on Kawhi, dog. Kawhi with full check-in? Kawhi was able to lock up LeBron, and this motherfucker was in checking mode. Imagine in those NBA finals if Kawhi could fully check your ass. Oh my gosh. LeBron wouldn't score for shit. LeBron wouldn't score for shit. Kawhi would have the clampers on him the whole fucking game. LeBron would be on the suicidal watch. This is why that's what I miss with NBA. I miss that element of it. Kobe Bryant and his elite level defense. The moments when, you know, they had the check-in rule. If Kobe Bryant was able to fully check you,
and that's why I knew Kobe was elite. He was knocking people down without even hand checking them.
Man, it's what I'm trying to tell you. I miss those moments where you could, and I'm not talking about bring back, you know, you bowl somebody over, you throw an elbow. I ain't talking about all that. I'm talking about being able to get physically on you and stay on you like peanut butter and jelly for 94 feet. A lot of guys that people think are stars, like Luka Doncic, if a guy could lock up a Luka Doncic defensively for 94 feet, Luka Doncic is not going to be this star player like you guys think that he is. He's going to get heavily exposed. Curry ain't going to be. Curry only making 3-point shots because nobody's guarding him. Nobody's getting his grill. Gary Payton said it best. Gary Payton said, man, if I'm able to put the glove on this motherfucker, he ain't not doing that. He ain't doing that.
That's the truth because Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And Matthew Dellavedova ain't nowhere near Gary Payton. I love the dig. Ain't nowhere near. So let's not fool ourselves and act like we're watching basketball in front of our eyes. Right now, we're watching basically what we would say a play clown show, giving us a similitude as if it's basketball. It's not basketball. Because when you say basketball, real basketball is street ball. That's why street ball has always stayed authentic. Because in street balling, they don't go by no NBA fucking trends. You getting hand fucking checked, you getting locked the fuck up, and you getting done the fuck up. And we gonna score on your ass. That's basketball.
Ain't nobody bailing you out with no damn call.
Nobody bailing you out. You ain't got no referee bailing you out. You gonna have to figure it out, man. That's how I like basketball. You got to figure it out. And then that tells me about your intestinal fortitude. Do you have what it takes to figure it out? A guy like LeBron James and his weak, fragile mind, that's what Dennis Rodman was talking about when he said you won't last in our era. Because Dennis Rodman would be all in his head all the freaking time. Let's just be honest here.
He would have folded.
Yes.
He would have folded. There's no way they could have beat the Bulls because he would have folded.
Yeah.
He'd have been the rain. Just like he folds now. He folds in this. He folds in this era. There's no way he could have made it in the 80s and the 90s.
Exactly.
Only Kobe Bryant from who played in this era could have did it. And KD because he's so tall.
Yep. They would have done it. Kawhi too, because Kawhi got those arms. Y'all don't understand how special Kawhi Leonard is. Kawhi Leonard got those arms. Kawhi Leonard has that length with his hands. And Kawhi Leonard just knows how to get at the ball, man. He has an excellent. I love defense, so when I see somebody plays defense at a level that it impresses me, I talk about them a lot. Mm-hmm. Kawhi knows how to shuffle his feet. Defense has 4 elements to it. You got to know how to shuffle your feet laterally. Lateral movement is very key on defensive end. If you can't move laterally, you getting blown. Your coverage is getting blown every fucking time. You got to know how to keep your hands active, dog. Like, you got to constantly be knacking at that cookie jar, the basketball. You got to make sure that basketball knows that, hey, at any given moment, I can touch you up. Mm-hmm. That's defense. Then you got to let that person that you defending know that I'm always going to be able to throw that body on you. You ain't just going to think that you can come up in here and do whatever you want to do. And here's the other element of defense that I like. Always putting someone in their off position. You throw them off position. Mm-hmm. If you like to go right, motherfucker, with me, your ass going left. You going left. You gonna prove to me. You gonna prove to me that your left can do what your right can do, and we're gonna know that when it's all said and done, your left cannot do what your right is gonna do. So guess what? Either you gonna make it on the left, or you gonna suffer all night. That's how defense has always been. And if you end up getting a block, or you end up getting a steal, or you end up getting a combination of both of them in the midst of it, then that's like a cherry on the top. But defense is not blocks and steals. Defense is what I'm talking about. Right. And if you happen to get those exemplary stuff on top of it, then yes, it's kosher. Typically, that's what I miss.
Typically, it's the other people who get the steals and the blocks off a good defense.
Yep.
The guy who's playing the good defense don't really get the stats like that.
Exactly.
Because he's the one that frustrated you to do something that you shouldn't do, and you got the ball stolen from the other guy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I used to love the whole Jordan and Kobe thing. I mean, the Jordan and Pippen thing, where Jordan will bait you to the weak side and Pippen will get the rip. You remember that shit? And they'll go transition on you, or Pippen will guard somebody and push them to the weak side. Jordan to get the rip because Jordan and Pippen are 2 explosive transition players. Jordan to get the rip and go down there and dunk it. I used to love that, man. That was basketball to me. That art is gone. That art is lost.
You don't hardly even see that shit no more.
No.
You don't hardly see it no more, man.
No. And then they want to tell me, hey man, you see this game, dog? You saw it. And every time I watch the game, all I see is somebody scoring baskets. I don't see nobody putting no pressure on them. I don't see nobody defensively stopping them. You know what my favorite basketball games are with Luka Doncic? Is when Kawhi's locking them up. That's my favorite moment of him. Outside of that, I don't really care to watch Luka Doncic because he's part of that whole thrill of basketball where they could just shoot and score and do whatever, and people are just going to be excited by that. I don't care about basketball like that. That's why basketball to me these days are repulsive to watch. The only time basketball becomes somewhat exciting is when we start getting into the playoffs. Regular season basketball has become the most boring thing to watch.
That's a formality.
And to be honest
with you, going to the playoffs and we're going to the finals and shit already.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I commend those who actually watch those regular season games nowadays. I commend you. The fact that you allow your watch time and your brain to go through the boringness of these basketball games, I commend you. But for me, because basketball ain't played them, they ain't gonna get my time like that. My time is gonna be in postseason and up, and that's how I've always been ever since basketball has been diluted to a bullshit standard. Man, I don't waste my time with the regular season because in the regular season you're not gonna get what you want. You're just gonna get teams that's just trying to score as much as they can so they can get the position that they can get. They can get the rankings they can get, the standings they can get. Then once all of that is settled, then we get into a playoff basketball. Because no matter how much they change basketball, Ross and Richy Rich, One thing they can't change is the playoff atmosphere of basketball is a half-court setting. That's why I love playoff basketball, because you got to win not 94 feet. You got to win at 47.5 feet. You got to win at half court, because everything slows down to the crawl, and you got to win basketball that way. Even in today's basketball, it's still the standard is still the same. That's why James Harden can't win in the playoffs. That's why these types of guys can't get over the hump.
They don't got mid-range jump shots.
Exactly. They can't get those jump shots in. They can't get the transition in. They can't get the isolation in. They can't get none of that in. But I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate Ross. I appreciate Richy Rich. Appreciate everyone that showed up and showed out. Make sure, again, like I said, y'all support the channel. Subscribe, comment, like, share, donate, give your best Sunday's best. Tom Ross. Make sure you guys subscribe to the brother's channel. Show that brother support. And we're going to continue to bring you guys that heat and that fire. We're going to continue to keep the foot on the Knicks. We're going to continue to keep the foot on the Knicks. And we're going to separate the weak from the damn strong. Y'all be easy. Y'all have a great Sunday. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace.